this is Max, and welcome to the Running System Podcast. So once again, we have the infamous Ahmed.
Hey
welcome
guys.
back.
Hey, good to be back.
So you actually reached out to me to get on this podcast again.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what do you want to talk about?
So there's nothing in particular, but I just kind of like being on the podcast. Who doesn't like being? It's fun every time we've come on. We've had some pretty good discussions. We've talked about religion.
Yeah.
We talked about jiu-jitsu for sure, MMA, whole smorgasbord of stuff. So I don't know, man. I kind of just like coming on and shooting the breeze, shooting the shit, and hopefully pick something new that I didn't know before, either about you or talk about things that we didn't normally talk about. So I'm up for whatever. But
I mean, I like doing that too. You know, that's one of the things I want people to come on the show and do is just to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's hard finding people to want to do it. You know, not calling anyone out, but
I call people out all the time, and I feel like but the other thing is that I think you need to have like interesting things questions that you're trying to get to the bottom of or what have you. So I'll start. There's one that's kind of that I've been thinking about, and that is that I turn 40 this year, so now it's almost the end of that year, and I'm still competing in jiu-jitsu, and I plan on competing in jiu-jitsu for a while. You know, I feel physically I'm able to do it, but the biggest thing is that I've noticed that I can't go as hard as many days in the week that I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed also that I'm not as strong as I thought I was, like now with other dudes that are, so let's just call it for what it is. I think there's a lot of guys that are like over the age of 30 in jiu-jitsu, whether they're competing or not competing or what have you, that are doing some type of like performance enhancing or testosterone replacement type thing. I am not. And it's like, it gets to me because I like sit there and I talked to my doctor about it. I was like, hey, you know, I go to the doctor every year, get tested about like what's going on in my body, physical stuff. And I'm pretty open and honest about like how I'm feeling about things. And I'm either more tired or not as motivated going to jiu-jitsu every single day, or getting up in the morning and maybe supplementing a workout for jiu-jitsu, like going to running or going to work out. Those types of things. Like I used to do that all the time, you know. And sad reality is it's not like I'm just not motivated. I'm just getting older. You know, I think it just happens. I've talked to other people, like, you know, they hit at a certain age and they're just like, man, I'm just tired, and you know, I need to take a nap on Saturdays. I need to take a nap on Sundays, and you know, I go to sleep early on a Friday night. This is what I do. And you know, he's just like, man, I mean, either change your diet, see what that goes, because if you know, I started telling him about like the guys that are doing this, and it's like it's a notable difference. Like I'm rolling with him, and I'm like, man, this person, you're 26. I'm rolling with guys that are like in their 40s and 50s sometimes, and you probably roll with them too. We're like, man, this dude feels as strong as Max, and Max, you're pretty strong, and that shouldn't be the case, right? I mean, maybe it should be, but you shouldn't be this. They shouldn't be as strong for as long as they're strong within that role. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, so, and I asked him that, and it sounds like I'm fucking whining about it, but I don't try to be whining. I asked him, and he's just like, you know, if you do it, you're like, long-term repercussions is you're on it for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
Second is that it does. They do say it, like it enhances the chances of your prostate growing at a faster rate than it normally would, because it grows anyway. Mm-hmm. Your prostate will constantly grow. Like it's a proven, like it's scientific. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That if guys live long enough, they will get prostate cancer. It's just going to happen. So he's like, no, don't do it. Change your diet up. Don't eat as much red meat. And anyway, it still messes with me, you know, like I'm like, all right, well, that person's still considerably stronger than I am, or feels considerably stronger than I am, or why are they recovering so quickly? You know what I mean? And so, anyway, I don't know if there's a question, but like, I don't necessarily feel like I'm in Major League Baseball and the ball's juiced, because I'm not a professional athlete by any means.
Yeah.
But it still feels like it's fucking bullshit. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I get where you're coming from too, because I mean, I've done like a lot of research, and I've watched a lot of like film and documentaries, and I've talked to experts about this because I was interested. I wanted to be a physical therapist when I was younger, and so I was wanting to get into the field. And one of the biggest things is like PEDs, like performance enhancing drugs, or like whatever, what have you. All those things, like your doctor said, you shouldn't do them. Like 9 times out of 10, at least in my opinion, 9 times out of 10, no guy needs HGH or TRT. Like TRT is testosterone replacement therapy, and HGH is a human growth hormone.
So that's the thing, is like I'm conflicted about that, because I've known people personally that I consider good people, right? And that when they test for it, they absolutely do. You know, they test low for T, and so they need to have it at certain teams in terms of their age or what have you.
Yeah.
And they need to have it. You know, do you question that, or is it just in general? Like, are you saying in general, like, don't do it at all?
I think no, unless you need to. It's like gluten, right? You know the whole gluten-free craze.
Like, I don't know.
No one, you need gluten. Like, the only reason you shouldn't be eating gluten is because you're allergic to it. Basically, essentially, that's what it is. That's why people have like gluten-free shit. It's because certain people are allergic to it. They can't digest it right. They can't process it right, and so it fucks them up. But if you're not, if you don't have that issue, doing it just fucks you up even more. You know, same thing with TRT. Like, all guys and even women produce like testosterone,
right?
And
we produce estrogen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the male hormone is testosterone.
No, I understand.
And so we produce it all the time. Like it's literally in our sack. Like that's what it is. And to do TRT or to take HGH, you're fucking up your body, because your body's saying like, oh, I have all this testosterone, and then there's more coming in that I'm not making. I guess I'll stop making it. That's why your doctor said, like, once you start, you can't stop. It's the same thing with steroid use. Once you stop taking steroids, any kind of steroids, like anabolic or catabolic, your body recognizes that there was a source and now there isn't, and it doesn't know what to do anymore. Right? That's why there's that whole like, oh, if you take steroids, your dick shrinks. It's kind of true, because it's not your dick that shrinks; it's your balls, because your balls is where it's your
they stop producing, factor. So they just like kind of become obsolete.
And so I'm not a believer in taking steroids, but again, 9 times out of 10, there is that one person out of the 10 that needs it. Like, I know this guy who he's around like, I think like 56, 57 now. Trains jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. Strong as an ox, and he deadlifts like 400 pounds, no problem. He's a killer on the mats, but he needs TRT because he's just has a certain thing about his body where his body doesn't produce enough testosterone for him to function properly.
Was he like that before he was low on T?
Yeah, he was still a beast. He was still a beast. Like, it never changed. And before he got on the regimen, before he got on TRT, he actually did things that your doctor recommended. He changed his diet. He stopped eating red meat as much. He worked out more. He did all these more holistic things to improve his body, and it worked for him. Like, he had like a herniated disc in his neck, and all he did was, like, he went to chiropractors. He went to like all these like specialists, and all he really did was just changed his habits throughout the day, and it fixed it. It got better. So like, I just don't believe it unless you really need it. I don't believe in doing it.
So then, what do you think of that? So is it you really need it because you see your general physician or whatever specialist medical doctor that that's determines that you have low T. Or what I'm hearing a lot of is like these people that are going to these like youth rejuvenation clinics or whatever they're called. They're just like these testing clinics or what have you. They're not. I mean, and they may have a doctor that's there, but their business is the business of TRT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, or is it, and I've talked to people who've gone to their doctor, right? And their doctor says, yes, do this because you're just not at the level you need to be at, right? And so, and there's people that, I don't know, they want to feel a certain way, they want to be a certain way, and, it is what it is. So, and the reason that I bring it up is because, it's just prevalent in jiu-jitsu in general.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
we're seeing it all the time.
If you look at it, the vast majority of pro jiu-jitsu guys are on steroids.
Right.
Like easily. Like
ACC was like it's worse than IBJJF because there's no testing. Yeah, and we just had that in October, and their guys look just like they're just like fucking monsters, man.
Yeah, like what's his name, Leandro Lowe.
Yeah,
in the span of 4 years, went from like 135 to 235, and it was pure muscle. It was like 100 pounds of pure muscle that he gained.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not normal.
He's a physical freak, but that's not possible,
Mm-hmm.
Not without some help, right? And like, I mean, you got guys even like outside of jiu-jitsu, like huge things, like you said in baseball,
right?
Everyone is taking steroids.
Yeah, I think you probably see it more in a lot more pro sports that you don't even realize. Like, I like the NBA. I watch the NBA. I think LeBron is 37, 38 years old.
Yeah, he's old. He's up there.
Yeah, dude, you can't do that. He's doing like in a night in, night out, and then not take a night. He's like literally not taking a night off, and he's sitting there dunking over. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't do it, right? Because I think it's more prevalent than people think.
Well, the thing is, I'm glad you brought up LeBron James. There are certain people out there that are just not normal.
Right, he's a freak.
He's an outlier.
He's an outlier.
I mean, look at Yoel Romero.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's 41, 42,
mm-hmm.
and he's fucking murking people. Like,
and he's not on anything, is he?
Not that we know of.
Right.
But he's also an Olympic athlete, and the Olympic athletes are like notorious, for being not just on another level, but being really, really good at testing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're good at hiding what they take, and they're good at like cycling out.
Right.
Like that's what they're good at. I mean, it's just a bunch of sugar water and acai, but
it's Jesus and acai now.
Yeah, Jesus. No forget Jesus. But yeah, like there's guys like that, and then there's guys that like even in our daily lives that are like that. Like the people that you mentioned, that they may be like older, like 10, 20 years older than you, that are better than you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like in terms of like, that they're a better person or whatever, but they're just, maybe they're better at jiu-jitsu, maybe they're stronger, maybe they're a little bit more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just natural. You got to get over it. I mean,
right.
Look at Shema. We were just talking about Shema earlier.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Shema.
Shout outs to
Fucking
Shema.
Bitch.
Yeah, he's really, there's nothing.
There's nothing you can do to this guy on the mats.
Right.
There's nothing. Like, he's been training, 4 years?
Well, he's been training, I think he's like 5 to close to 6 years maybe, but he's obviously athletic, but to his credit, he's not just athletic. He thinks like a jiu-jitsu player. And so he knows what he's doing, and he's got good technique, and he practices his technique.
Yeah.
And so couple that with athleticism.
Yeah, but I think the athleticism is what takes it over, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because like there's guys like Jay, like CJ, that are really technical, really good, and they can't really do much to him. Like, I literally threw this motherfucker on his head, and he used his head to spin and take me down mid-air. Like, we were both in the air. He used his head like a dreidel, spun around and got on top of him.
Like he was breakdancing with you on top of him?
Yeah, and it was like that. It was in an instant. Like, that's not normal.
Right.
Anyone that landed on their head like that would either be knocked out or just stop moving.
Right.
Like, they're just like, oh.
Or they're just going to accept, like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just, it's just not normal. And there's other people out there like that,
Sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're talking about You're talking about Yoel Romero, like the. I'm not saying Shaman's like Yoel or LeBron, but it's like it's you get to that point, people are on that level, like, and they're just not. It's not as it's not fair just to say, oh, these guys must be cheating, and that's why they're so good. It's not.
You can't say
like
that.
You can't say that because these people are just. They're not
made.
They're not made like you and
me.
Me.
They're made in a lab,
right?
But with the whole steroids thing and the PEDs, and it gets to the point where they literally test for everything. Like, I can't remember what this one guy got caught for. It was John Jones. He got caught for like Turinabol, yeah. And that's basically, that's basically like a PMS drug.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a hormone blocker.
I just know the name.
And it's like, the thing about it is, I'm not sure if it was Turinabol or something else, but before the DC fight, he got caught for a steroid, quote unquote, that did not help his performance at all. Mm-hmm. It actually like hindered his performance. Mm-hmm. And they still caught him. Like, they still said, you can't take that. Like, it was a drug that essentially decreased his fighting ability. Right. And they said they couldn't take it. Like,
is it the same thing as like the Diaz brothers getting caught for weed?
Yeah. Okay. It's the same thing. Yeah, sure, it maybe with like the THC or whatever, it could make you, take more damage. Mm-hmm. But
sorry.
No, it's fine. There's a dog in here. But yeah, it's negligible. The difference is negligible. What the benefits are. It doesn't really help that much, especially when they're fighting at the highest level. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu, where you have guys going out there and they're like getting high like while they're training. And that's another thing, like, I know guys that'll get high before training and then say like, oh, it helps me recover, or it helps me, deal with like
anxiety
and like the stress. And it, while I'm out there, like, I'm not going to tap as easily because I'm not as nervous, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, once you start doing it, you can't stop doing it.
You think so? Yeah, you think like steroids, or you think weed is like that, or it's...
Yeah, for sure.
The lifestyle becomes habitual.
Yes, it's all based on habits. Like, if you can change your habits, you can change everything about your life. I firmly believe that. Like, if you can change your diet, you can change your body. If you can change your body, you can change your mind. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Right. Everything's gonna fall in order if you can fix like where the core issues are, and the core issues is yourself. Adding more things to it doesn't help. You have to figure out what's wrong with the engine that is you.
Right. So to that point of going out before you train jiu-jitsu, and you're like, oh, I need to get high before I go do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to experience this situation, basically not sober or being high, right?
Yeah.
And in order for me to do it, and because it's a better experience for me as opposed to if I was sober, right? Yeah. And so, and I think I know what that means, because like, I smoked weed in college, and a lot, and so I was always, I'd rather be high watching this movie, because that experience is better watching this movie when I'm high.
Yeah.
I'd rather be high working at a restaurant, cooking in the back, because it's a lot easier to cope with that shit if you're just like cooking in the, you know what I'm talking about.
You're less stressed.
Yeah, or like, it's just a lot easier to do it that way. The same, so on and so forth. But you get to the point where it's like, all right, well, is that performance enhancing? I don't know. Is it? I don't know if it is or not. It's
I think when you're doing it for work, I'm opening a Starburst, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think when you're doing it for work, yeah, technically it's performance enhancing. Mm-hmm. Like someone that takes like Adderall.
That's definitely.
Or like Valium or something.
Yeah.
But
you hear about journalists like taking Adderall to stay up all night and like write papers. And
yeah, that's performance enhancing.
For sure.
For sure. And then you get trapped in a cycle. Yeah. Like,
that stuff's physically addictive though.
Yeah. And then there's like,
it's not like lifestyle addictive. It is definitely physically addictive.
Yeah, and then there's things where it gets in your head. Like, you know what melatonin is?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I take it.
Yeah. You take melatonin.
I do occasionally, yeah. If I need to go to sleep.
Exactly. People will take melatonin to go to sleep. And then it becomes sort of like this placebo effect where they hear all these things, like rave reviews about melatonin. Like, I have insomnia, can't sleep. Hear about melatonin, like, oh, maybe I should try it. Hear all these good reviews, you watch all these videos, you watch all these documentaries, whatever. Take melatonin, you have an amazing night's sleep. 8 hours clean. You're like, wow, this works. Next day you do it again. Happens again and again and again. When you try and cycle out, you go straight back into that insomnia.
Because doesn't your body naturally produce melatonin in your brain?
It does.
Okay.
It's the same thing as TRT. Now, the issue is you may think that the melatonin is working, and it may not be working, but you think it. And when your body thinks it, it makes it true. So, like, that's basically what placebo is.
Right.
It's sugar pills. And I've tried it. I have insomnia. Some nights I don't even sleep. Like last night, I slept at 3, I woke up at 7. And I've taken melatonin. I've tried it. And yeah, some nights I get really good sleep. Some nights I don't. But it's because I went in with the mindset, like, honest, that I had no idea whether it would work or not. It did and it didn't, right? So that's like the true form of it. So that's why I don't really take it that much, because I know, like, if I just fix my habits, I'll sleep better anyway, right? If I stay more focused during the day, if I exercise right, if I eat right, I won't be as anxious, I won't be as stressed, and then I'll be able to sleep.
Right. That was the big thing for me. When even going back to the conversation I had with my doctor, it was about getting rest, like at night for me. And diet was a lot, because I felt like I was eating a lot of red meat. When we were talking about that Game Changers documentary, it was just so happened that when I talked to him, I just watched that documentary, and I'm like, and I don't buy into it, but I do think that there is certainly benefits to having less meat in your diet, as opposed to as much as I was eating, which was, I was probably eating red meat 4 nights a week. It's a lot.
Yeah. Not as much as other people that eat like every day or every meal, but
every meal, like people who do that. And I think like your body, at least my body, I think probably has issues with just processing that much meat. I know, night in, night out. It's not, it's probably not I don't think it's helpful for sleep, so change it up. I went vegetarian for a couple weeks, and then I went to a football game and had some brisket before. It's like I couldn't deal with that. And then obviously Thanksgiving came around, and it was just the 2 days before Thanksgiving, my mom made a nice Arab lamb dinner, and so I had to have some lamb. So, and then Thanksgiving obviously was just
like lamb kefta or something.
Yeah, just like legs of lamb roasted.
Oh, and that sounds good.
Yeah, over couscous.
Oh yeah,
the food's so nice.
That's the thing, man. I can't stop eating meat. Like, I'm Buddhist. I'm supposed to be vegetarian, like I said, but I can't stop eating meat. And most people, again, like 9 times out of 10, you need meat, but you don't need that much meat.
Yeah, that's the. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm getting clowned over at Top and like the places that I train at by people who thinks I'm just a fake vegetarian. I'm not a fake vegetarian. I'm just eating less meat.
Yeah,
you're
being health conscious. That's what you're being.
Right.
And the thing about the Game Changers thing on Netflix, if you guys haven't watched it, it's interesting to watch, but it's a total crock. Like, going full vegetarian,
there's no science behind it.
Yeah, there's no science behind it. It will not make you a better athlete. For some, it might, but for a lot of people, it won't. Like, one of their biggest arguments was like the Nate Diaz Conor McGregor fight, and how Conor McGregor ate like steaks every day, like 12-ounce steaks every day, and Nate was like a lifelong vegetarian. Well, that's bullshit. Just because Nate knocked him out in the second round does not mean that vegetarians are better than meat eaters. I mean, what? Nate's got a record of like 14 and 11. What happened to the other 11 guys? Were they all meat eaters? Were they all vegetarians? Doesn't make sense.
Masvidal just starched him.
Yeah, Masvidal obliterated him.
Yeah.
For fucking 3 rounds. Just tore him to pieces. And then you got Conor McGregor, who's got a winning record of like what? He's got like 4 losses out of like 30 fights.
Yeah.
What were the 4 people vegetarians too? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Khabib's definitely not.
Yeah, Khabib eats meat all the time.
Yeah, it's like it just that being their major argument made no sense. It's fine. It's fine.
Layla's got to drink some water. She just had a meal, so I'll probably kick her out.
Yeah, sure.
Can we do that?
Yeah, good. I'm not gonna stop this though. I'm just gonna keep going.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna edit this part out. I like the slurping sounds.
Layla.
But yeah, it makes no difference. I recommend eating less meat because it's better for you. You're less likely to get certain diseases like heart disease and certain cancers, but you still need meat in your diet just for the added protein. There's higher amounts of protein in meat than there is in like vegetables for sure. Like there are certain vegetables and there are certain grains and shit that'll give you a lot of protein and you can survive on that. But the protein that comes from meat, you can't beat it.
And the B12.
Yeah, and the B12.
Which is the only scientific thing that they mention in the documentary is that your body absolutely needs B12 and you need it from meat. Yeah, but I do feel better eating less meat. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't maybe I venture into it again and maybe I'm vegetarian for a couple of weeks. I did like being vegetarian for like the week. I had a competition in Kansas City and I was vegetarian that whole week before and I felt pretty good.
Yeah. You feel lighter.
Yeah, I feel lighter. You know, I feel like I have more energy, you know. So there's definitely something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say there isn't scientific proof, but there is some science backing being vegetarian. It's just not a lot.
Yeah,
not a lot
just
to
like
me.
the things like where your sexual libido goes down. Like where's the scientific proof behind? I don't know.
I mean, just take some zinc.
Yeah.
Eat some oysters. But yeah, I mean, I've experimented with my body a lot. Like I've taken zinc. Zinc is like a big producer of testosterone, omega 3s, B12. I've even done like pre-workouts, like the thing that Jay has. It's like that fucking.
Which one's that?
It's like the purple powder. It's like it looks like cocaine. Comes out of a can.
Is it?
You're
talking about just a normal pre-workout? Is it C4 or something?
No, I don't think it was C4. It was something else. Where he said, "Don't take too much." That's the only thing he warned me about.
He's just trying to sell it, bro.
But yeah, I tried it, and like, yeah, it's those things. I believe in them again for certain people, but for myself, I feel much better with my performance, especially when I can just do it myself. Like I'm not saying like I'm really good, but when I go out there, the biggest thing I focus on is like. Everything's got to come out of me because this, I got to be the best me that I can be. I can't add things on, like I said earlier. You can't add things to the engine until you figure out what's going on.
Do you take pre-workout before you go work out?
No, I don't do any of that. No, I drink a glass of water, go over there, start pumping iron.
I'll be my pre-workout right now for jiu-jitsu is having some candy.
Yeah, just a little bit of a sugar rush.
Yeah.
That is the scientifically proven thing though, just having some sugar. That's why Yoel Romero talks about sugar water. It's good for recovery and it's good for
that's good for right after too.
Yeah, sugar water. I mean, I wouldn't say like down a candy bar right after and then chug a soda, but like when you're doing like intensive training, eating some ice cream right after, it's good for you. There's certain proteins, there's sugars. If you're eating the right ice cream, there's added sugars in it. The dairy, obviously, if you're, not lactose intolerant. There is the coldness of the ice cream actually helps with recovery as well. There's certain things you can eat that will help, but again, it's just all about changing your diet.
I think it's like foods that help with inflammation.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like the superfoods kind of things that have all those added benefits.
I've been taking some turmeric. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. If anything that helps with less, feeling less achy in the mornings, that's the biggest thing. It's just not feeling achy. There's some fights this weekend.
Yeah, are there? Yeah, there's what's his name? Max Holloway and Volkanovski.
Oh wait, what happened to? Oh, you're right. Volkanovski's the guy who beat Aldo, right?
Yeah, he beat Aldo and Mendez.
Yo, did you see that picture of Aldo in camp getting ready to fight Moraes? Marlon Moraes.
yeah.
He's dropped to 135.
That's stupid.
He's gonna
That's
get
dumb.
killed. He's gonna die maybe before he gets there. He's at 152 pounds right now, and I know guys who've trained with him.
I don't have your Wi-Fi.
You need the Wi-Fi.
That was the issue. It's fine. I was gonna try and be my own Jamie.
It's okay. I can give you the Wi-Fi, but I'll type in the password. I can give you your password online over the podcast.
Duh, obviously. I don't even know how to get to my thing. But yeah, I think that's a terrible move for him. If you guys don't know who Jose Aldo is, he's like, in my opinion, he is the featherweight GOAT. That's 145 pounds. He is the greatest of all time in that weight division.
And he's going to kill himself.
Yeah, and like the thing is, people don't realize this, but they think featherweight is small just because it's 145 pounds. It's not. Jose Aldo is the same size as me. I'm 5'8". I'm 170 pounds. 175 pounds. Jose Aldo is the same size as me. And he cuts 30 pounds like every time, and it's insane. There's no way he's going to make that weight and still be like good. You know what I mean? And there's like people like calling him like for like Frankie Edgar's doing the same thing.
He dropped to 135?
Yeah, and he's fighting
but he's smaller.
He
Like
is.
he's physical. Like Jose Aldo, I'm pretty sure walks around 170, 175.
He's huge. He's jacked too. But yeah, I think it's a much better cut for Frankie Edgar just because he is a smaller guy. Fucking up there. But yeah, let's see this picture. Sorry guys, I want to do video, but even if I start doing video, I'm gonna get copyright issues.
You know who could probably do your video?
Who?
Who could probably be your Jamie?
Who?
Khan. I could easily see him being
Yeah, if he ever does anything like that. Yeah.
What? There's one at where he's training right now at Upper Deck in Rio. Novania. Is that him right now? That's also crazy.
Yeah, that's him right now.
There's one where he's emaciated. He looks like, what's his name? Christian Bale in the
Machinist?
In The Machinist?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not that bad, but he's looking pretty damn close. His face just looks
They
bad.
do it all the time. Like, look at Darren Till.
Yeah.
Darren Till.
He looked like
He looked like he was going to die.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor looked like he was going to die. Freaking Max Holloway looked like he was going to die, cutting to 145.
Dude, Jose looks like he's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about...
And even if he does make the weigh and he makes the weigh in and he shows up the next day, like, how good are you going to be?
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing as TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, when he fought 125?
Yeah. I think he just passed out. If you watch the fight again, I think he just passes out. Do you like...
Does it affect your ability to take shots to the head?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. When you dehydrate yourself, you're taking water not just away from your body, but away from your brain. Yeah. And the thing that stops getting knocked out is a hydrated brain. Mm-hmm. You know, just when you take water out, it's basically just like a dry raisin running around in a nut, you know. And when it starts hitting the walls, you're gonna get concussions. You're gonna get like brain damage. I mean, your CTE. You're just gonna get fucked up. And I think that's what happened to TJ. You know, he's just not enough water in his head. Even if he like rehydrated back up to like whatever weight that he was normally at, like 145 or whatever, doesn't matter. Your body needs more time.
You've gone that low that quickly.
Yeah,
and for you to go back up, it's not gonna be the same.
It doesn't matter. Like it's just not healthy. Mm-hmm. I think there should be like implementations to prevent like drastic weight cuts.
I think that. I don't know if you've heard of this by like in the U.S. they for high school wrestlers, and I've been talking about this with my niece. She's a high school wrestler in Missouri. And they have to certify your weight in for high school wrestlers and even college wrestlers too. They have to certify your weight at the beginning of the season. Yeah, like so whatever you're weighing in at the beginning of the season, and they'll not only they'll measure your weight, but they measure your percentage body fat. Basically, how much they think that you can lose and still be healthy. So, say if you're at you weigh 128 at the beginning of the season, and your percentage body fat is like 15. Okay, well, they'll say that they'll give you at that point. They'll tell you the weight class, the lowest weight class you can drop to, and the time that you you are allowed to drop it. So you can't drop down to say you're at 126 right now. They'll say, okay, you can drop to 113, but you can't drop to 113 till this date in the season.
Yeah.
So
that was the thing when I wrestled.
Yeah, they certify
like
your weight
8-9 years ago. But yeah, like they even had this thing where for like a certain match, like a certain duel, you go out there and you wrestle, say like 145 or 142 or whatever the weight class is now. When I wrestled, it was 145, and so I'd go out there weighing 145. And before the season, like a month before, they took my weight down. I was like 150ish. And they said the lowest you can go is 140. So I just went to 145. And I wrestled at 145. And then they told me that day that next week I have to go 145 again before, if I wanted to, I could go to 140.
Right.
And I had to be below the weight I was at that day.
You had to be below whatever you weighed at before.
Yeah, so I had to weigh 145. And then the next week, I couldn't weigh less than 143. But if I wanted to cut down to 140, I had to weigh less than 145, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you have to even, and they do that in college now too.
Yeah.
So like if you're planning on dropping down to a weight class, they won't let you do it right away, but they certify.
They'll let you slowly get down to it.
Right, for sure. Which is healthy.
Yeah, it's way better. And speaking of wrestling, the other fight that's on this weekend is Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman.
I think Colby's going to win.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I think from what I've seen him, he's got really, really good cardio. He's a smart fighter. He doesn't get himself into really bad positions. He's a good enough wrestler, and he's a good enough striker to where he's like basically going to he'll be in it, and he almost like wears people down.
Yeah.
He wears people down. No, granted, Kamaru Usman, he's got good cardio.
Yeah, here's the thing. For those of you that don't know, Kamaru Usman is the current welterweight champion. That's 170 for the UFC. Covington is I think interim, right?
He's
the interim champion. So it basically means that he's like the side champion. But both of them, fantastic wrestlers. Like they were nationally ranked in the U.S. for a long time. Insane conditioning and cardio. Really heavy focus on pressure. Constantly moving forward for both of them. Where it becomes different is Kamaru is the physically stronger guy, and he's way better in the clinch. Like if you watch his fight with Tyron Woodley,
he destroyed him,
dude. Like his clinch fighting was where it was at. But if you watch Colby's fights, he pressures in with, like you said, better striking. He's got better kicks, better punches. But as soon as he gets into the clinch, it becomes more about, can I get this guy to the ground? If not, I'm going to break. Usman's different. Once he gets you, backed up against the cage, or once he gets backed up against the cage, it's about how many times can I score you in the gut before I take you down. You know what I mean? So, I think it's going to be a 50-50 fight. For sure, it's probably going to go the distance.
I think it'll go 5 rounds.
Yeah, I think it'll go 5 rounds. But it's a 50-50.
When is that fight?
This weekend.
That's all this weekend?
Mm-hmm. It's so it's a 3-title fight. It's a 3-title card. You have Max Holloway fighting for the featherweight title against Volkanovski.
I've never watched Volkanovski.
He's a beast.
But I know he beat Aldo.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'll talk about him in a minute. But you have that fight at featherweight for the championship. You have the welterweight championship. And then you have the women's, I think, featherweight championship with Amanda Nunes and Durandamy.
Oh, shit.
That one's probably going to be a banger, too. Both of them are really good kickboxers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Nunes.
Nunes, I think she's the woman's GOAT.
Yeah, she's awesome.
If she beats Durandamy, she's the GOAT.
She's awesome.
She's the GOAT. But, Volkanovski is a beast. He's a beast. You should watch this. It's on YouTube. You should watch
tall,
his fight.
right?
No.
He's not tall?
He's like maybe 5'6".
Okay.
You should watch his fight with Chad Mendes. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Unstoppable pressure. Like, I think he's going to lose, but I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I just don't think anyone at featherweight's going to beat Max.
It's crazy that he makes a featherweight.
I know. He's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I met him in person.
Yeah, is he like 6 foot?
He's at least 6 foot. Like the thing says he's like 5'11", 5'10" or something, but he's taller than 6 feet. Like I met him. Like I'm 5'8", like I said, and he like I have to look up at him. You know, it's like Wagner.
Who?
Wagner, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
He's tall. He's tall, but he's lanky. I think that's how he makes the weight. But I don't think he's gonna make the weight much longer. I don't think so.
Do you think he fights much longer?
At 145, no.
Or in general?
Yeah, he's still young. He's young.
What's age for like age and to where you think people should be just like, you know what, I'm done?
That's a tough question. Yeah, he's 28.
That's pretty young.
That's a really tough question.
I mean, he's 28, but he's been in some fights too.
Yeah, he's been in some wars. He's definitely got brain damage. Not making fun of him, but he's definitely got brain damage. Like,
yeah, but all those guys. I mean, Jose's has to have brain damage. Has to.
I feel like Jose should have retired after the Volkanovski fight.
Yeah,
I think he should retire.
He definitely shouldn't be dropping to 135 to watch.
That's the dumbest move to make late in your career. Like he's been fighting since he was 17, 18. And right now I think he's like what?
He's in his early 30s.
He's older.
Mid 30s, early 30s?
Like in terms of like fight mileage, he's old. He's old as shit in fight mileage. He might not be old in general, but he's old in fight mileage.
Dude, his face looks like he's old.
Yeah, he's old, dude.
How old is he?
33. But
man, he looks like he's 43.
How many years has he been fighting? 33 since 18.
So that's 15 years.
15 years. 15 hard years too.
Yeah.
Like
remember,
at the top.
The first 5 of those were probably in Brazil, where he's just fighting.
Where they're just animals, like back in like the shoot box days.
He was soccer kicking while people were in the head.
Yeah,
in the head.
That's a lot of fight years.
Yeah,
you know, people don't consider that. Like sports years, especially like hard sports, it adds to your life.
Yeah,
it takes away from your life. Actually,
yeah, you're not. There's a reason certain sports guys just don't compete after a certain age, and MMA has to be one of them. But like wrestlers don't. Yeah, when's the last time you see a wrestler winning Olympics? You don't see a lot of them winning Olympics after the age of 30.
Yeah, as soon as they start getting older. It's happened, but as soon as they start getting older, it's like gymnastics.
Right.
You know the average age of retirement for gymnastics is
Isn't it like 19?
Yeah, it's in their teens.
No.
It's like 4 or 5 years
before
of top
you go to
competition.
college.
Yeah,
before you go to college.
It's terrible because it's so freaking demanding on your body.
And then you see like the college... You see college gymnastics. I'm like, these are the girls that can never make it to the Olympics, but they're like, you know, they're still doing it at the age of 22.
And they're physical phenoms. You know, It's crazy. Like even with sports that people don't even consider like esports, like electronic sports, StarCraft, StarCraft 2. The average age of retirement is like 25.
Is it because you made your money and you're out, or you become obsolete?
You become obsolete.
Why?
Your body slows down. Even at that age,
you can't process things as quickly,
dude. Like currently right now in StarCraft, I'm a big fan of StarCraft 2. If you guys watch this podcast, you would know. But the top guys, they're like the number 3 guy right now is 16, 17, and
he's a vet. He's like a veteran at that age.
He's been competing for like 4 years.
Okay,
at the highest level.
Yeah, and
if you look at like throughout history of StarCraft 2. All the best guys in their primes were like 16, 17, maybe 18. They were young, you know, real young. And like, dude, there's this one guy who's been competing at the highest level since he was 12. He's 21 now. And like, he would be considered the freak of that world because he's still just as good as he was back then.
He's like the LeBron James of the...
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like LeBron started early. I don't know how LeBron's staying fit.
Again, I think it's steroids.
Yeah, clearly.
he's still a freak athlete.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like there's... Yeah, man. A certain age to retire, that's a tough question. It's a tough question.
Yeah.
Like, I think GSP should retire, for sure. He should stay retired. He's like 37.
I was listening to his manager the other day. He's like, "Oh, you can come back right now."
Yeah,
I mean, like, dude, you're selling it. Come on.
Yeah, they're hunting dicking us.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, as somebody I don't want to see him anymore. I'm kind of moved on.
I don't want to see him lose.
Yeah, I don't want to see him lose. I definitely want to see him lose. You know, to be honest with you, I'm like Khabib. Like win this fight against Ferguson. Call it a day, dude. Like be the GOAT and just be a GOAT. Go back to Dagestan. Live like a king. Be the man. He doesn't have anything else. Or who else at 155 does he have to prove? Other than maybe Gaethje.
Yeah. I think he has to fight Gaethje.
You think he has to?
If he fights Gaethje and he beats him, GOAT.
I think he's the GOAT now.
Lightweight GOAT. If he beats Tony, he's lightweight GOAT. Because right now it's a coin toss between the two.
Between who's better than the other?
Mm.
You think it's that close?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good fight.
So here's the thing. Who do you think's gonna win?
Here's the thing. Until I see Khabib lose, I gotta say Khabib. Until I see him lose, you know what I mean?
So
and it's never been close. It's never been close.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never been close. It's always been like he's even if it's a decision, he's physically dominated the other person.
Here's the thing. I think it's gonna be a huge coin toss. Like I have no idea who's gonna win because we've never seen Khabib fight someone that can keep his pace.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never seen Tony fight someone that can keep his pace.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen Tony on his back getting annihilated, like getting mauled. Because every time he gets taken down, people take him down because they don't want to stand with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kevin Lee. Edson Barbosa took him down because he didn't want to stand with him.
Edson's a great striker.
Yeah. And the thing is, every time they get him down, their heads are on his chest, their arms are sprawled out, they're not building up posture, they're not doing anything that Khabib would do. And so I think it's really hard to judge because we've never seen them in these situations. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've never seen Khabib bleed. That's the crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen him bleed.
I think Khabib could pound him when they're if he takes him down, he will take him down. Sorry, he will take him down.
Yeah, he will take him down. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
I think he absolutely will take him down, and I think that he can ground and pound.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue, a lot of people think that Tony can win off his back. I don't think so. Khabib's jiu-jitsu is really good.
Top level jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, you have to trip him up to hit him, and you're not going to trip him up. You know, that's his world. That's his game.
Right.
And I think the only way Tony wins is to knock him out. To either knock him out or last long enough and make Khabib work hard enough to where he now has the advantage later in the fight.
Right.
Because we've seen Khabib kind of fade a little bit in like 4 and 5, but it's not by much. It's only because he's beating the shit out of the guy so much.
Right.
You know?
I think that back to the jiu-jitsu for Khabib. His top game in jiu-jitsu, first of all, I've never seen him on bottom, so I don't even know. He may be really good.
He's really good.
I've never, so when I'm doing jiu-jitsu or when I'm around people who are doing jiu-jitsu, like sport level jiu-jitsu, people are talking about his top level and like, this is what Khabib does when we're in this position, and it works. And for sport jiu-jitsu guys to talk about his game to implement into sport jiu-jitsu, like, because MMA jiu-jitsu is different.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
It's not even really jiu-jitsu.
You're using jiu-jitsu to gain leverage to the point where you can hit somebody, and then eventually things open up. But like, man, you can get away with a lot more in regular sport jiu-jitsu. But man, his top level MMA jiu-jitsu works for passing guard in regular jiu-jitsu. Really like sport jiu-jitsu.
I think he's the best MMA grappler of all time.
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, he's better than GSP.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I don't know why people want that fight. It's a stupid fight.
Yeah. He's better than he's definitely better than he's a better grappler because he just wins better than Maya. Maya to me is the best jiu-jitsu in MMA.
Here's the thing. I mean grappler in terms of like not just wrestling but also jiu-jitsu.
He mixes everything up.
Yeah, he's the guy that no matter what you do, he's getting your ass down.
He's getting your ass down, but even the way he passes guard.
Yeah, he passes like a
He passes like
a knife through butter. Like
well, yeah, but
butter.
he uses the body lock.
Yeah,
he beats that knee shield and he gets to a body lock, or like just a regular crossface. Man, he's gonna pass. He's gonna pass. When that stuff right now, you're seeing that. If you saw the ADCC this year in October, all the best guys were doing that heavy pressure, chest to chest body lock, beating the knee, passing on their knees.
That's the simplest, easiest way to pass.
Yeah, and they were doing it a lot of times because they're avoiding all the inversions for like leg locks and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was the way to go. And dude, it's basically all he does in MMA.
Yeah, I don't think the ground is good for Tony. It's just Khabib's just too good down there. Mm-hmm. He's too good, and like, yeah, he's just too good. He has been on his back in one fight, the Abel Trujillo fight.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That was really early on, right?
Yeah, it was funny because Abel took him down, and immediately Khabib got, I think, butterfly or something, and he just immediately started working for arm bars, triangles, while punching him. And then, as soon as he got up, he went on throughout the rest of the fight.
I remember this. He suplexed him like 7 times. Was that
like
the same
21
guy?
times. Legit. Like, I think that's the official record. It's 21 takedowns in one fight.
Yeah.
And like, it got to the point where Abel was just like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like,
I can't get this guy off."
Yeah. He even like did the hand thing. He was like, "Man, this is stupid. Like, why am I here?" Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no way, at least in my mind, that Tony beats him on the ground. Mm-hmm. He's got to knock him out. He's got to. That's the only way. And that's why I think he has to fight Gaethje.
Because that guy can wrestle?
Not only can he wrestle, but I don't think wrestling even matters. Because, again, we've never seen Gaethje fight a high-level wrestler.
That level.
Yeah, because Khabib's the only high-level wrestler in lightweight right now. Mm-hmm. Aside from, like, Gillespie. But Gillespie's not even up there. And we've seen Gaethje hurt. We've never seen him tired. Hurt and tired are two different things. Mm-hmm. I don't think Khabib's going to hurt him. I think he's going to get him tired. But we got to see what happens when Gaethje gets tired. If he gets tired.
How old is Khabib?
He's like almost 30.
He's almost 30?
Mm-hmm.
He's young too.
Real young.
That's crazy.
30. Let's see. Oh, shit. Why am I using that? Let's see here. Khabib.
Nurmagomedov. Not going to work here anymore.
31. Okay,
he's 31. That's still young. That's
Yeah,
still
real
young. I mean, he has 2 more fights in him.
Easily. Because he's what, 21 or 28 and 0? So if he makes that 30 and 0.
Yeah, that's the way
lightweight
to go.
goat. Lightweight goat.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about jiu-jitsu?
Man, we talked about this earlier. I haven't been feeling it for like the past 6 months at least. Mm-hmm. And it's not, it's probably one of like the longest, I guess, bouts of.
You've also been injured sometimes within those 6 months.
Yeah, but I've always been injured.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my secret. I'm always injured. Okay. I've been injured my whole life. I dislocated my shoulder when I was 6 months old.
How did that happen?
Putting a shirt on. I'm serious.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not about the injuries. It's not about like anything physical really. It's more just mental, Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's all based on your mind. Like I'm not going to take any like anti-anxiety things or like depression pills or whatever. It's not necessary. But like,
well, what do you say about people who do? Like, is it okay for them to do? Like, are you just saying for yourself?
If they don't have another way to cope, yeah. For myself,
mm-hmm.
I just don't feel it. But I don't think medication is the right way to go for mental issues. It's all about behavior. It's all about habits. That's why I believe in behavioral therapy. That's why I believe in behavioral clinics. I don't believe in asylums. I don't believe in, medication. all those things do is just delay the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If you're not fixing the engine, you're not gonna fix the engine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is an engine. Your body's an engine. If you're not fixing it, you're not fixing it. You know.
So where were you were feeling? Did your engine basically feel like it just wasn't up to par in these past 6 months? And
yeah, I just haven't been feeling it. Like I said, when I get there, yeah, I want to work. You know, I want to train. I want to have fun. But then before, I'm dreading it. Before, I'm like, I don't want to make the drive. I don't want to pack. I don't want to change. Like it's that bad. Like even when I'm like on the mats, about to put my mouthpiece in, I'm like, I kind of want to go home. And then after, it's the same thing. I take out all my shit. I'm like, I'm dressing out.
what
I'm
about
like,
in the middle of rolling?
in the middle? I'm fine. I love it. You know, it's great. Like I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm beating someone else's ass. Oh, this is fun. You know, I'm doing drills. I'm doing all that. I'm having fun. But you know, before and after, I'm just not feeling it. You know, like
sometimes I think it's important to, because I get like that for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely get like that. I think it's important to remember why you're doing jiu-jitsu in the first place. Because I just don't see any other reason other than inevitably that it's fun.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing it because you want to learn self-defense, or whether you want to get in shape, or you want to stay in shape, or whether you're doing it because you want to compete, well, ultimately, or you want to make a living. Even if you want to make a living with it. Jiu-jitsu is not a good thing to do if you want to make a living if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, if you don't enjoy it, if you're not having fun doing it, then you can learn a lot of other things for self-defense, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of other things for self-defense. And like people are still saying right now, like if you had multiple attackers, jiu-jitsu is not the way to go. You know, it's not a good self-defense. Or, you know, personally, like I think probably the best self-defense is probably to carry a firearm, but I don't have one. But I would think that's probably, if you're really trying to feel safe,
yeah,
you know, it probably could be that. But you know, ultimately, like if you're not having fun doing it, and so when I do feel like that, I feel like, oh man, it's kind of, it's the grind of it, you know, of like getting up, changing, driving all the way out there, and you know, stretching and waiting for things to happen, and then sometimes there's always this anxiety of rolling. But you think it's important to remind yourself, like, okay, this is the thing that I do for myself during my life that I have a lot of fun with. And whether it's the most fun you have or not, right now for me it's the most fun I have, you know. But you have, you know, you have relationships, you could have family, whatever, that you gain enjoyment out of. But yeah, right now, like it could be, this is another piece of enjoyment, and I feel like it's important to remind. It happens to me, and that's what I do. Is like I just like, hey man, you know, get ready to go jiu-jitsu, because when I'm training, or when I'm rolling, or when I'm working through positions and stuff like that, I'm having a blast. I'm having a ball out there, you know. So
yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before on past episodes.
With you or me, or just by yourself?
I don't know. I think we've talked about it before too, where, you know, especially in terms of why you learn jiu-jitsu, why you do jiu-jitsu. I do it for fun. I don't do it for self-defense. I don't do it for health.
Self-defense is boring.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about self-defense is jiu-jitsu is really good for self-defense, not because of the techniques, but because of the mentality. Because in jiu-jitsu, you will know you are not the best.
Sure.
You will know my motto: you never get good, you only get better. That's the thing about self-defense. You're never going to be prepared. Ever. Ever. I've been training martial arts for the past 12-ish years. I've done firearms training, knife training, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA. I've done it all. I've taken some Krav Maga classes. It's total bullshit, but I've taken it. I will never be prepared to protect myself, or to protect someone else. I'll never be prepared. Ever. Dude, because I don't know what's going to happen.
So here's my thing about the whole self-defense and jiu-jitsu thing. It may be a good jiu-jitsu is good self-defense. Sport jiu-jitsu is a good self-defense. I feel like I don't go out, I definitely don't go out looking for a fight or whatever, but if I feel like if I'm attacked and I just do sport jiu-jitsu, I don't do anything else, I could probably defend myself, right? And
you're a brown belt going against a guy that probably doesn't know shit.
Yeah, and it's I'm gonna be okay. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right. But have you ever gone to like a Gracie self-defense thing?
No, but I've seen the videos.
They're so fucking boring, man.
They're pretty stupid too.
They're just so boring compared to like, and I know that's probably gonna offend a lot of people who like that kind of stuff. But man, it's just like, I don't want to, I don't want to go through, motions 15 different times of when somebody puts me in a headlock.
Yeah.
I'm going to take their back, or whatever it is, and I think we see a lot of those. We see a lot of those schools. There's a lot of those schools that are out there right now.
Those are comfort schools.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, most of us have never been in a situation like that. Praise to God.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't. Most of us don't, and most of us don't look for him. Don't.
That's fine. It's fine. Just leave it there.
All right. There's a stink bug.
Yeah, it's fine. If you don't bother it, it won't bother you. Self-defense. If you don't bother it, it won't bother you.
Don't smash them because then they'll stink.
I know. Yeah, I'm not gonna kill it anyway. But yeah, here's the thing, man. I've actually taught self-defense classes to kids. I was part of this like bully program.
Is this back in Richmond?
Yeah, and I've gotten questions from adults too, along with the kids. Would you use jiu-jitsu? I'm like, no, never. Unless the opportunity presented itself, I'm not going to use jiu-jitsu. Because here's the thing, like I was saying earlier, jiu-jitsu gets you ready for the mentality of it. Because in jiu-jitsu, you're going to have people sweat on you. You're going to be rolling around in really awkward positions. It's
intense.
You're going to be grabbing certain things by accident or on purpose. I don't know. Some people are like that. But certain things are going to happen, and you're going to have to be okay with it. It's the same thing out there. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to be okay with it. I think that's why jiu-jitsu is good for self-defense, quote unquote.
Right.
But what you should be doing is just understanding the most basic assault attacks and understanding what you can do, not what you should do, what you can do.
Right. So when you go back to saying this comfort school thing.
Yeah, it's absolute bullshit. Like, no one's like, one of the techniques, like legit. I'm not sure if Gracie Jiu-Jitsu still teaches this, but one of the techniques they show is an attacker coming at you with both hands, like Frankenstein zombie style.
Yeah,
like going for a choke.
Yeah. Like face to face.
Yeah, no one's going to do that except for a belligerent drunk.
Right.
Sure, it works in that situation.
Or like a mummy.
Yeah, exactly. Sure, it works in those situations. Maybe in The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to get mugged, if, God forbid, you're going to get raped, if you're going to get, just attacked, guess what? One hand's going forward, the other hand's got something else.
Yeah, or like there's more dynamic motion in general.
Yeah, there's more that's happening.
Right.
Like I remember I was training this one guy. He was a Navy SEAL, and he was talking about the fights that he's been in. I mean, I'm saying fight very loosely. He's been in combat. Right? And he said, when you get in close, be aware that you're going to die. That's what he said. Be aware that you're going to die. I think it's the same thing in the streets. I think it's the same thing in self-defense situations. If you're not prepared to die, then you're not going to survive.
That's pretty heavy shit, Max.
I mean, that's legit what he said. Like, this guy has been through it, and that's what I take to heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by comfort school. When you go to these schools and they teach you all these techniques, they're not going to say, be prepared to die. They're going to say, this is going to work.
Well, to the other thing is, I've been to those schools, right? And I've traveled, and I'm the type of person when I travel, go on vacation, I like to train.
Yeah.
So I'll find a school. Sometimes, man, I'll just find whatever school, and it's like some Gracie self-defense, or I'm not shitting on every Gracie school. There's some like one of the best.
Yeah, there's some legit places.
There's some legit. Gracie Baja, for what it's worth, is one of they teach self-defense as part of the curriculum, but they also have some
legit
of the
stuff.
Some of the sickest sport jiu-jitsu players out there. But there's a lot of these schools that when you go there, it's like they just don't roll, man.
Yeah,
they're not rolling like we roll in sport jiu-jitsu. It's not in these intense rolls. And so to your point, it's this comfort school, or it's this idea of never getting used to the intensity of what a fight is going to be like, or like how hot it is, or how much is going on. And like there's like, learning how to control somebody else while you're trying to control your own body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a
lot of things happening that you don't have control of that you need to be aware of.
Right. And if you're not rolling, again, intensely, at least a few times a week or 2 times a week, then dude, how are you really expecting me to believe that you're able to apply those techniques that you really
that this
know
shit's going to work?
Yeah. It's like, and then we're just going to give this person a belt because they've done these techniques and they've been training for so and so long.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but about that, when I did the bully program, we did live rolls.
Okay.
Like legit rolls, like start and standing, not jiu-jitsu, self-defense.
Right.
And these are kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like I attacked them for real or anything, but one of the final tests was if you can stop me from attacking you. Obviously, I didn't go 100%. Mm-hmm. It just wouldn't make sense.
You were bigger than them.
Yeah, of course. I was bigger, I was stronger, faster, more knowledgeable. I knew more things.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to test not their technique as much, but what their reactions were.
Mm-hmm.
So, we went over strikes, we went over certain grappling techniques. Never really went to the ground because I didn't feel like a lot of kids would be taken to the ground in those situations. And even if they are, it's just like...
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. But a lot of it was rolled around actual defense. They weren't hitting back. They weren't doing any of that. And I wanted to test if they could handle the situation. So, like, if I attacked them, like if I went for the collar grab and I was, like, trying to punch them, can they stop the punch? Good. They're stopping the punch. What if I do a technique they've never learned, like an uppercut? What do you do against an uppercut?
And you were going.
I was tripping them up. I was doing things that I didn't teach them just to see how they would react. And I've gotten kids that were like, I never learned that. And I've gotten kids that move their head or like, kind of shove their head down to take the brunt of the force. I was wearing a glove. But there were kids that reacted the right way and there were kids that reacted the wrong way. And that's why I wanted to test. And that's why I think there's comfort schools out there that don't do that,
Sure.
Because they're doing like that slow motion, like this, going back and forth, stop one punch, come
stop,
back.
block, duck, go for the duck behind the back.
We've all seen those McDojo videos,
but
and like the key blast videos,
But, and so to me, like, okay, it's this kind of the culture of the whatever you want to call it, but it feeds into adulthood where these kids that are like the kids, everybody gets a trophy, type thing, or this instant gratification where you're doing this. Is it better than them not doing anything at all? 100%.
I think so.
Yeah, but
it's just for confidence boost kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's selling them kind of the fluff part of jiu-jitsu, and it's like, okay, we're just going to give this instant gratification because that's the culture that we're in, and it's a business, and the business needs to make money, and these people need to feel like they're progressing somehow.
Yeah,
and but we all have seen those people if they've ever been they've come to visit our school before.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, fish out of water,
completely different.
Completely different. They're like, they don't know what's going on. They're like a deer in headlights. You're rolling with them. You almost feel bad just like rolling with them. It's they don't know what. So a lot of times it's really funny. They revert. We'll roll maybe, and I'll stop. I'll play guard because I like to play guard. But I'll play top two. But anyway, I play guard. Sweep. Really with ease because they're not used to playing like a sport jiu-jitsu game, and then they get to Their guard now is completely obsolete because they're looking for closed guards and half guards where you would
they're looking for more
traditional
base stuff,
right? And if I'm on my feet, I'm just not accepting that type of position.
Yeah,
right. They don't know what to do, and you're passing their guard like butter, and then all of a sudden they get into this side control. So when they learn side control, it's like protect your neck, keep your elbows in close, and nothing's gonna happen. Don't get submitted. And meanwhile, I'm like, you're coming from a self-defense school, and you're not trying to recover your guard, and you're just not trying to get submitted. Well, if I was on the street, I just literally pound your face in.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Then I just want to be like, I don't say anything to these people. Maybe I should. Because I'm not. Am I doing them a disservice? I'm just like, hey man, just.
I think so.
Should I?
I'd say something.
Yeah, I want to be like.
I mean, I wouldn't stop the roll.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop the roll, but I'd finish the roll. But the roll just becomes boring because I'm just like kind of dancing around in side control, knee on bellies and stuff like that, and they're not trying to give up anything. They're just trying to keep their back plugged to the mat.
Yeah,
everything is tight like a little ball with their feet just kind of. Not even trying to engage in getting any type of guard again. And I'm like, man, this is bad news for you if you're in the street.
Yeah.
If you're in the street, it is what it is.
I mean, when I joined, there was definitely that shock. Because I wasn't used to the sport jiu-jitsu either.
Mm-hmm.
I came in as a brown belt, but still, and then it took me like a year to get used to it. So I understand where they're coming from, where it's like big shock.
Yeah, but you're not... You weren't coming from that.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
You're not, but you weren't. You trained under David Oliveira.
Yeah,
that's still. It's maybe just the intensity of our school versus another sport jiu-jitsu school may be different. But
it was the more realistic aspect.
Yeah, he's not. He's also teaching MMA.
Yeah,
right. So that's a little bit different. I'm talking about strictly Pedro Valente brothers. I went to one school. Man, they made me. I won't say where or whatever, but they made me wear like the Valente brothers gi. And I'm like, what? And the pants, have you ever seen those pants? They're huge.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. Speaking of that shit, you hear Karan Gracie, black belts can't wear black belts?
I've heard that shit before, yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah.
But
you have to wear like a specific type of black belt, though, right?
Yeah, it's like a black belt with a white stripe.
Yeah. But it's like
that's besides the point. I mean, back to the self-defense thing. Yeah, man. Whatever martial art you do, there's going to be a benefit for it. Mm-hmm. Physically, spiritually, mentally, there's going to be a benefit to it. But for self-defense, I mean, if someone came up to me and asked me, what should I do to learn self-defense? I would tell them it's the same thing as asking, what should I do to learn string theory? What should I do to learn how to build an engine? What should I do to learn how to build a house? Mm-hmm. There are too many avenues of success for that. Mm-hmm. There's too much information. There's too much to build on. Like, the topic is too broad. You know what I mean?
Mm. It's just don't you think there should be a foundation of it, though? Because I feel like you alluded to a point at the beginning of you're even in the bully program, you're not doing full jiu-jitsu rolls, but you're teaching them certain parts of jiu-jitsu where it's like
there's an aspect to it,
right? But you're getting them used to the intensity of it.
Yeah, and
does that serve as the foundation? Similar to like you're going to learn how to build a house. Do you want to learn how to build a foundation?
Yeah, yeah. There's a foundation, and I think the foundation starts up here, because, like that Navy SEAL said, when you get in these situations, know you're going to die, because that's a big part of it. Like, when I roll Shema, back to Shema. Mm-hmm. When I roll Shema, I go in there, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And not roll better. I just roll better. Because I'm thinking, I'm going to get my ass kicked. I'm going to get my ass kicked. I'm going to get my ass kicked.
Do you find...
It makes me work harder.
Yeah, it does make me work harder, but I also find when I roll with Shema, my next roll with somebody else... I feel like I'm on point, like I'm reacting because I'm already reacting, having to react to recover my guard against Shema is like I have to recover really, really quickly because he's passing.
Yeah,
and he still passes, right?
Yeah,
but I'm already in that mode. It's like oh shit, right?
Yeah.
And so like now I already take that and I go to the next 2 or 3 rolls after that with other, you know, less mutant like people that are just like, okay, my guards, I'm working more of an offensive guard as opposed to like a defensive guard, you know, and it's helpful. So like I really appreciate rolling with somebody like him, or to be frank, like rolling with somebody like you, because you guys are moving faster than say the normal, you know, Jim Oak that's just, you know, a brown belt at whatever, you know, over 30 years old. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's not quite as athletic or what have you.
And yeah, that's another big part, is to actually do the live part, you know, actually make it realistic, you know, because that's again what's going to help you get ready. It's not going to get you ready, it's going to help you get ready. You know, if you have simulated the situation, like what you said about rolling Shamal, when you roll better with other people afterwards, I feel that too.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the situation where I got my ass kicked. Now it's time for me to do something about it.
Right.
You know? And you see that a lot with people that have been in those situations.
It's more like it's not going to get any worse than that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, that's why when I did that bully program, I didn't want to be a bully, but
You had to put yourself in that mindset.
I had to make myself the bully to make them realize that no matter what you know, it's going to happen, you know, because then it gets them used to it. And one of the things I always said was just, no matter what, just keep moving. If you don't know what you're doing, just keep moving. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Let's say you and me got into a fight to the death, right? That's self-defense, right? Fight to the death.
Sure.
My mindset, even though you're a good friend of mine, my mindset, if we were to fight to the death, would be, I'm going to die, but before I do, he's going to die. You know, I'm going into the situation like I'm going to die. That's helping me kill you.
Does the Navy SEAL, when you were doing this, did he talk about the fact that there's mortality to all of us?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, he said, if
Like,
if you're going to get stabbed, just get stabbed. I mean, it wasn't like that. But like, you know, when you do like self-defense, like someone with a knife comes at you, there's no real good way to stop the knife, because they could be coming under, they could be coming straight, like over, like this, doing all this shit.
But to that point you were just saying, right?
Yeah.
You were saying that we're gonna fight to the death, or like I'm in a situation where I'm in a real life, dangerous, life-threatening street altercation. This person is going to die. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But this person's going to die first.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, like, you already know you're going to die. Aside from the street altercation, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
It's like you accepted the fact that you have this mortality about you. And
in daily life?
I don't know, do you?
Yeah. I'm aware.
It's like
I'm not afraid of dying, because I know it's going to happen, you know? But like, what I'm specifically talking about is in this specific situation.
Yeah. You're not talking about the fact that it's like, I've accepted I have a mortality to me, and that's how I live my life.
I'm not having like a epiphany about life and death.
Especially not in that situation.
Yeah.
Right?
But in the specific fight to the death situation, it's like, if I don't kill you, you're gonna kill me, kind of thing. And that's a big motivator. I don't know if you ever had that feeling, but it's a big motivator. It gives you a big adrenaline jump.
I've never been in that kind of a situation where I feel like my life was threatened by somebody.
I have once or twice.
Guns,
gun and knife. Once with a gun, which wasn't too crazy, at least from, you know, in hindsight. But with the knife, it was. I got stabbed in the leg because I tried to do a jump knee, and he just stabbed me right in the leg. Because I you know, the jumping knee thing.
Yeah.
I just jumped up and it
stabbed.
But it was a good thing, I think, in retrospect, because it stopped him from stabbing me more. And then from there, I just kind of got.
What are you doing getting stabbed?
We were out clubbing.
Yeah. Just in Richmond?
Out in the street. Thankfully, it wasn't like a huge knife. It wasn't like a freaking Bowie, but it was more like one of those pocket knives that was like maybe 2-ish inches. You know, the people that have those knives.
They come in handy type knives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those situations, and yeah, I mean, if you train with the mentality for those situations where you're going to die during training,
Mm-hmm.
it helps you realize in those situations what's going to happen, you know? And so, yeah, like I was saying, if we were to fight to the death, rules go out the window, you know? I don't care if you're my friend. I'm going to grab your nutsack and I'm going to try and rip it off and shove it in your mouth. Like, that's how intense it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's literally life or death. Like, if you're choking me, I'm not just going to grab your hand and go, blah, you know? I'm going to move. I'm going to do something. And that's the biggest thing. You know, you have to be aware of the fact that you might die, and you have to be accepting of the fact that when you stop moving, you die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because regardless, if you're in a bad spot, moving and not moving, either way, you might die. If you don't move, you die. If you do move, you have a better chance of not dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of confusing the way I said it, but
No, I do. I guess what I'm saying is that maybe I just don't think of those situations that often. And obviously I've never been in a situation two times in your life where you feel like your life has been threatened. I just never, and maybe I would think about it differently. But what you're saying to me absolutely makes sense.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, having done martial arts and having grown up, not in a rough life, but at least being aware of what a rough life is like,
mm-hmm.
you know, you get to be taught and told certain things. You get to learn certain things,
mm-hmm.
you know. So, yeah. I feel like this went, like, all the way to left field.
It's okay. It's okay. maybe we take a drink of water.
Yeah, I'm going to eat some peanuts here.
Okay.
I'm not going to stop this, though.
Do you see, there was I saw on Twitter, I'm on Twitter, I like Twitter more so than any other social media platform, but there was somebody, one of the writers he's not a writer, I shouldn't say he's a writer, one of the content providers for Flow Grappling was tweeting a video quick of a jiu-jitsu tournament in Japan, Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament in Japan, and the guy who won, when he won, he was probably in his 30s, early 40s, maybe. He raised his hand. He opened up his gi. He opened up his gi and he showed,
Yakuza.
He showed all his Yakuza tats. And then if you noticed on one of his fingers, one of them was missing. And I was like, holy! Which I don't think it was his pinky. I think
it probably was his pinky.
I don't think it was his pinky.
It wasn't?
No, I think it was like a very well, according to whoever, like one of the commenters on it, that were saying that it was like basically your pinky on whatever your dominant hand is extremely important when wielding a sword for Yakuza. And anyway, that
I'm not gonna find it.
Yeah, it's really funny, but I was like, it's like, so are Yakuza just now just doing this? And this is anyway. But he was flashing his Yakuza tattoos. I'm like, are you really Yakuza? Or are you posing? What's going on there? It's gotta.
There's a big stigma. I mean, not anymore as much, but there's a big stigma in Japan where if you have tattoos, you're probably in a gang, and the Yakuza is like a crime syndicate.
But the patterns, I'm pretty sure were like somebody who was looking.
I saw it. It looked like Yakuza. I didn't notice the finger thing. But that is a Yakuza tradition.
You look at the finger thing. He definitely did something. He definitely doesn't missing a finger. It's not a pinky. It's something else.
Instagram?
It was for me, it was Twitter. I don't know what it was.
Yakuza for life.
Is that what came up first when you looked at people?
Yeah.
Just look like Yakuza Jiu-Jitsu.
Might have to look at it later.
All right.
But yeah, that is the thing. Like, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the thing about the finger is they cut off one of your fingers when you essentially misbehave. Because they're trying to take away your ability.
I'm assuming. Yeah, I would feel like if I'm wielding a sword or something like that, and you cut off my fucking pinky.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know. It just wouldn't seem like it would be a big deal.
Yeah, the thing about your hand is the first two fingers, minus the thumb, the first two fingers, like the index and the middle, they're great for strength. And the last two, without
control.
Control.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. When you take away those two, all you have is like this. It's not much.
Right.
You know, you could probably get by doing this, just not this. I'm
Like
doing things with my fingers, guys. Sorry, you can't see.
Right. But then you would say that even if you're like swinging a bat,
Yeah,
if your
it becomes less stable.
If your pinky is broken, you don't have the ability to kind of swing a bat the way
For
you
sure.
do normally.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of scary too, knowing that possibly a crime syndicate has a bunch of like jiu-jitsu experts and shit.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Japan and compete. I want to go to Japan, just not. I don't know now. I don't want to go to compete. Whatever I'm going against.
I do want to go to Japan just to hang out. I think Japan is a cool place. I think there's a lot of rich history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then: do you ever feel being Asian and no, obviously not. Your background's not Japanese. Do you feel like there's any level of animosity towards Japanese culture? Based on the fact that, like, historically, the things that they've done to the other Asian countries has been pretty atrocious.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to start a...
No. I mean, you can't really feel it in the U.S., but definitely there's a lot of stigma.
Like, do your parents or grandparents ever, like, you know...
Oh, my grandfather hated the Japanese. Yeah. My parents not so much. They don't really buy into all that. I know my girlfriend's parents don't really like Japanese.
Your girlfriend's Chinese, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you'll see it a lot, especially in media. Like, there's a lot of Chinese dramas where it depicts like the Chinese rebels during World War II. You know, like during the occupation of the empire. You know, the empire, Japanese empire occupying China. There's a bunch of dramas on it.
It's always Ip Man's always fighting some Japanese judoka or whatever karate
it's kind of
guy.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Koreans. You know, Koreans don't like Japanese. Japanese don't like Koreans. Koreans don't like Chinese. Chinese don't like Koreans. You know, I know in like Vietnamese dramas too, it's the same thing. Japanese are kind of like the villains. But
well, you know, but historically, there's the reason. I mean,
yeah,
there's reasons why the emblem of not the current flag, but the old one with the
rising sun.
Yeah, the land never sets on the well, that's the British thing, but the rising sun, the land of the rising sun, is just
I mean,
it was meant to spread basically.
Yeah, there's I mean, I'm not saying like say one bad thing we're all of a sudden going to go to war, but there are old heads out there that are like, nah, fuck them. You know, it's just, it is what it is. It's the same thing as discrimination, prejudice, you know, all this stuff, where you're told a certain thing or you experience a certain thing, and then all of a sudden, it's always like that.
Right.
You know? But, I mean, obviously, I don't feel that way. I love Japanese.
I want to go to Japan.
Yeah. I love sushi. Sashimi.
I love sushi. I love the fact that they have some really cool martial arts.
Yeah. I mean, say what you will about karate. Karate's dope.
Karate's awesome, man.
Yeah. Judo's awesome.
Jiu-jitsu's awesome.
Jiu-jitsu is the original jiu-jitsu that were used by the samurai is legit. People don't think it is because, like, when they hear Japanese jiu-jitsu, JJJ, it's like the comfort schools.
Now we're hearing about American jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I mean,
all these Brazilians are going to ape shit.
It's dumb, man. It's all the same shit. Just get over it. It's martial arts. Just accept it. You know.
Yeah, it is. So, speaking of racism, I want to talk from like experience, but I've been the only real professional sport I've been paying attention for the past 6 months has been soccer, professional soccer. There's a lot of racism in soccer in Europe, man.
For sure.
God. And there's in Italy, two of the best clubs are playing this weekend, and so like the famous sport newspaper, it's called Corriere dello Sport in Italy. They posted their front page was, you know, they were trying to bring light to the fact that these two star players from the two different teams, one is Roma and the other one's Inter Milan, and they both have they have black players, both who are former players for another club that was in England called Manchester United. And they're both like, this is their first year in Italian football, and they're killing it. They're doing great. And there's this big head-to-head matchup. and, and the huge headline is the two players like head to head, like in action, and right above it says Black Friday. like the choice of shit, the words that you went with is like, oh my god, why would you even go? And then they like, that's not what we meant. We wanted to say like, I'm like, why don't even defend it? Just shut the fuck up. You obviously have a problem. And it's like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, there's these little things where it's like, when you look at it, it's like, oh, that's funny. You know,
it's funny. It's funny, and then you're like, what, they're defending, saying like, okay. So the point I'm trying to get to is when something happens where somebody of a certain race says, "Hey, that's racist," it offends me. Okay, and I'm just to give you an idea is like, I don't get offended by much verbally. You know, like you could say a lot of things to me, I don't really care, but I certainly understand when people of either certain backgrounds, you know, orientations or what have you, get offended by whatever somebody says or something that's said in the media or whatever it is, right? Or, you know, the president of the United States. Yeah, you know, it happens. And is it the person? The question I'm trying to answer is like, does the person who says whatever the racist thing is or does whatever the racist act is, you know, in terms of the person who's interpreted, do they get to say, no, it's not racist because this, and this? Or is it racist because if I'm the person who belongs to that race, and I, like if I was one of those soccer players and I'm a black soccer player and I see that and I see that black, you don't get to tell me that
that's not racist.
That's not racist. I'm the one who's black and I'm going to tell you that that's fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is it, or like we're in this, and I'm like anti like cancel culture. Yeah. You know? Like I'm not into. Like,
I'm not into that.
I'm not either, but I'm also like, okay, well, that's dumb. You don't need to do that. You know, it's obviously, I'm not saying we need to cancel that newspaper or, you know, anything like that, but I do think that it should be pointed out, and people should absolutely make fun of them and absolutely laugh at their ass and absolutely call them an idiots because it's a stupid move, and they should be reprimanded somehow, right? But, you know, I think it's, you give them an opportunity to say what they need to say, but they can't say it's not racist. Yeah. Because they're not the person.
They're not the person being offended.
Yeah. Within reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
this is a bigger question. I took it out. This is, you said 180
I think
degrees.
This is a topic for another podcast entirely. You know, we're getting into this whole political debate.
It's not political. Yeah, this isn't political. This is just this is ideology of like how you know. Yeah, I get the current
world climate. You know, the cancel culture and the whole snowflake thing, and the racism is a big part of it. But there's also like, you know, anti-gay and you know, transgender shit. And all. It's all a part of the same thing. You know, because like you got people like Dave Chappelle making gay jokes,
transgender jokes.
He's getting canceled, and you got people like. Kanye having his whole issues, he's getting canceled. Everyone's getting canceled. You know, we're all getting canceled. We're all getting canceled. We're not gonna talk to each other anymore. You know, it's getting to that point. And like, I don't get offended by things. You know, you can say all the ching chong shit you want to me. I think it's funny. You know,
no, it ain't. Well, see, come on. You think it's
if it's in a good.
Well, I can't tell you how you're feeling.
Yeah, but if it's in a good light, like if someone's, you know, if I said. You know, if I was fucking with you and say, every time you did something, Allahu Akbar, you know, and then you come at me with like, I don't know, I can't even think of something that would be mildly offensive to me. It just wouldn't work. You could say ching chong to me, I don't care.
Yeah, but there's a familiarity between us two.
Yeah,
right.
And like
what I'm saying to you is like, what happens when you don't know the president from whoever, or you don't know. Whatever radio host of this radio or this podcast from whatever. Yeah. And they're sitting there saying, well, you know, get some, you know, they'll make fun of you know, or they'll poke fun of the way that the Korean street owner, you know, talks because of whatever, you know, whatever, how, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you don't know those people, they don't know you, and they could be saying something in a way to show, could it mean that they think that person is lesser because they speak in a funny accent? And don't get me wrong, I speak in because I'll go up to my friend Jay, who is absolutely Korean.
Yeah, and he's got the Korean accent,
and I'll do the Korean accent, but I'm not doing it to make him feel lesser.
Yeah, you're not trying to hurt him
by any means, and that's my friend.
Yeah,
and so like but I do understand, like, okay, man, you can't sit there in a public. You can absolutely do this. Like, I'm not saying that these people who are who have these podcasts or have these platforms shouldn't be able to do that. They should, but they should absolutely feel the repercussions.
Yeah.
Of what those things are.
I mean,
that are not necessarily legal.
I mean,
not illegal. I'm sorry.
I think, again, if it's not malicious, if it's not bad intent, then you can kind of let it slide. Like,
but you can't.
Mad TV, Alex Bornstein, the Mrs. Swan.
I remember that.
Oh God, dude! People have been trashing on it lately because it's really racist. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's. Yeah, it pokes fun of at like Asian ladies and like the accents and like all the things they say and all the things they do. And yeah, we do have our quirks, but I think it's funny. Sure. Because it is funny. But then you have things like Kim's Convenience. You ever seen that show? I think it's on Netflix. It's like it's a show about a Korean family.
Is it a cartoon?
No.
Okay.
It's a show about a Korean family in Toronto or something. Mm-hmm. And the parents have really bad Korean accents when they speak perfect English in real life. And the show is just not funny. And if it was done by white people, if it was done by non-Asians, even the fact that it's done by Chinese, like all the actors are Chinese.
Oh, really? And so they're depicting Koreans?
Yeah, I think that's racist. Mm-hmm. Not because of the fact that it pokes fun at Koreans. Yeah, that's a big part of it, but the main part of it is because it's just done so bad.
Right.
It's
cringeworthy.
Yeah, like the goal they're trying to achieve, they haven't achieved it. They're trying to shoot this target and then they shoot all the way to the left,
Right.
It just didn't work. And I think that's mildly racist because it just didn't work.
So did you hear about this news story? The 49ers, I didn't watch the game, but it was on ESPN. I saw it where the radio announcer for the San Francisco 49ers, they're just playing the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Baltimore Ravens have a stud of a quarterback, just an awesome quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And he's killing the game right now. He's going to win the MVP if they just continue to do what they're doing, right? And he's extremely good quarterback, good passer, good scrambler, good runner. He's black.
Yeah.
So they said the radio announcer mentioned something about when he's running or when he's doing, because he's like, sometimes you can't, that the ball blends in with his skin so well you don't even really see it. I'm like, okay, hearing that, I'm laughing. I'm like, what?
See, that's funny, but then it's mildly racist.
It's mildly racist. But again, like, how does Lamar feel about it? One, yeah. But I'm also listening to him like, if it was me, I'd be like, man, you're a dumb fuck. Why the fuck would you say that? You're so stupid. Like, and he got suspended without pay, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, could he say that? Sure, he can say whatever he wants. But the repercussions are what? People think you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And two, you got suspended from your job.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, maybe he got fired, I'm not sure, but he definitely got suspended. And so, like, and obviously I'm not black, but could I see how somebody could reasonably be offended by that if they're black? Sure. Does he need to say it? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does he need to? No. Can he? This fucking stink bug. So.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know. The whole, like you said, if it doesn't bother you, then technically it isn't racist to you.
But who are you laughing? When you and I laughed, we both laughed, right?
Yeah.
Who are you laughing at?
I was just laughing at how stupid it is.
Yeah. We're laughing.
I'm not laughing about the racist part. I'm laughing about like that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's kind of like, it's funny, but it's funny. It's like, okay. And the reason why is it funny?
It's funny because yes, it kind of makes sense, but you shouldn't have really said it that way. you know?
Right, but it's more like you shouldn't have said it that way. And so is it mildly racist? Yes. But the reason, I think the reason sometimes I'll laugh at like somebody saying something racist in this situation, and maybe not in this, but it could be otherwise. Like, because I'm like, man, what a dumbass. Like, why would you even go there, dude? You're so stupid. Ha ha. Like, you know, like it's more like that. And I think of it in the sense that of all the reasons not to like somebody, their skin color is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in life. Yeah. Like, there's a dude. I meet a lot of people I'm really annoyed with, right? And of all the things that I really don't like, that I like about them, their skin color is like the first thing, the last thing from my mind, right?
Yeah.
It could be like, you know, the fact that they don't tip waitresses or whatever, like, or they're obnoxious. They have an obnoxious laugh.
Yeah.
You know, if they have an obnoxious laugh, then I'm like, yeah, I don't like that person, but not because they're Indian or because they're, you know, whatever. So
yeah, I mean. See, here's the thing. I don't know if you call this racist or not, but when I meet someone new, I do see their skin color. I'm not going to say I don't.
Yeah, for sure. I understand
It's the first thing.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm going to look at what they're wearing. I'm going to look at how they greet me, or even if they greet me. And then I'm going to make my judgment, you know?
Preliminary judgment.
Is it being discriminatory to assume that black or white, yellow, brown, whatever, if you're dressed like a hoodlum, I'm going to think you're a hoodlum. Is that discriminatory to assume? Because I've met thugs that were like Ivy League worthy, MIT worthy. But they're just thugs. They talk that way, they dress that way, they act that way.
So what is thug to you?
A thug is someone that's, you know, dressed like a hood rat, dressed like a gangsta, you know, coming out, they got rap music bumping. And then they got like a 40 in their hand or something. That's like a huge stereotypical picture. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? You know, like a 50 Cent looking motherfucker, like a pre-2010 Eminem looking motherfucker. You know, someone
pre 2010 50 Cent, which you also could be saying.
Yeah,
because now you see
not the suited 50 Cent, but the old 50 Cent.
Yeah,
you know, like the 50. They say 50, 40. You know, they don't say 40. That's
and they're Ivy League worthy.
I've met people like that. Yeah, but.
I'm not saying that they aren't.
Yeah, I've met people like that. Is that racist to assume that they're going to be that way? To assume that they're a dumbass, and to assume that, you know, they.
I think is it racist to assume that they're a dumbass?
Is it discriminatory? Yeah,
I think it's discriminatory.
Yeah,
I think it's racist to think that they're stupid.
So am I discriminatory?
I think that. What do you? So let me give you.
Do I have racist thoughts?
No, is it? To assume that they're a dumbass? Yes, I think that's racist.
Yeah,
I think so. I think let me make a simpler one, okay? And it's like a real life situation.
Okay,
all right. So, I didn't know how this person looked like. I've never seen this, but I pay attention to sports, and so I'm on Twitter and like I follow like college football a lot, and one of the best recruits in the country. Just committed to Louisiana State University, LSU, in football, just a few months ago or a couple months ago, and it was a big. He's top. He was like the top defensive back in the nation.
Yeah,
one of the top ones. Okay, his name was his first name. I forget his last name, but his first name was The Chosen. D-E, capital C, H-O. Z-E-N.
The Chosen.
And let's say his last name was Williams or something.
Yeah.
And his
we're focusing on his first
name. And his middle name was Juan. Juan.
Okay.
The Chosen Juan Williams. Or
okay.
Whatever. And his nickname, just so you know, he gave his nickname was the Chosen One to ever do it. Okay. So,
okay.
so like in quotations, the Chosen One to ever do it. Whatever, Williams or Rutherford or whoever it was. So when I hear that, I'm like, hey man, and I was like, I don't have to know how this guy looked like. This guy's black.
Okay.
But is it safe to assume that he's black? He was black. He just so happened he was black. I did look him up and he was black, right? I don't think that's racist to assume that he was black. because in my life experience, I haven't met a lot of other people who are from another race that
name their kids that way.
They name their kids that way, right?
Yeah.
And I also don't think that because they named their kid that way makes them any less makes them dumb or makes them anything. That's who they wanted. That's what they wanted to name their kid.
That's what they want to name their kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And guess what? They named their kid, and he's going to freaking one of the best blue chip programs to play defensive back for them, right?
Well, see, here's the thing. I think that is racist. Mildly.
To assume that he was black.
Assume he was black, but
I don't. I think it's okay to assume. I assumed that he was black.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Here's what I want to say. It's okay to be a little racist. We're predisposed to assume certain things based on stereotypes and stigmas. It's psychologically proven. That's just how we are.
Okay, but is it racist or is it like?
But I'm
using characteristics from experiences that I've seen, from life experiences that I've had with a certain race.
Yeah.
To assume that when I heard something, oh, that's black, right?
Yeah, that's a stigma, you know.
But
it's a type of racism. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You're not a bad person. I'm not a bad person for assuming that when I say hoodlum, I think of a black person. Because I've grown up in an environment where all the hoodlums are either me, a scrawny, stocky Asian kid.
Wait, how are you scrawny and stocky at the same time?
Oh, I meant short. Okay. Short, stocky Asian kid, or a bunch of black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So wait, a hoodlum could have been Asian like you?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to California.
Okay, so a hoodlum could be...
When I think of a hoodlum in California, I'm thinking of someone that doesn't really speak English very good.
So you're thinking of Mexican?
No, I'm thinking...
That's where
I'm thinking Asian. Oh, see? That's a stigma. I'm not going to say racism is okay. It's not. But that is an okay type of racism. Because that's what we're sort of geared to think. You know, because we see it in daily life. We see it in the movies. We see it on TV. We see it in person sometimes. You know? It's not wrong to assume something. That's what prejudice is. You know, that's what...
But is it wrong to assume that person's any lesser of a...
See, that's the bad part.
So that's what I'm saying. Is like, do you think that person... When you say like that person's a dumbass because they're a hoodlum...
Yeah.
Is that wrong? That's wrong, I think.
It is. Like, I remember I met this... White kid. He was a hoodlum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he came in all tatted up to jiu-jitsu. Like this scrawny white kid looked like a tryhard. My first thought, oh, this guy's gonna be an asshole. He's gonna be here for like a week tops. Turned out to be one of the nicest kids I've ever met. One of the hardest working. Like the nickname he has is DGAF.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. He trains hard, works hard.
Mm-hmm.
Changed my entire perspective.
Well, your nickname is Asian Max because we already have a Max, but only because we already had a Max.
And that's the thing. The first thing you see is like, oh, it's an Asian kid named Max. Mm-hmm. We already have a white guy named Max. You know, it's not wrong.
He's got a different nickname, just so you know.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It gets wrong when you start using it against them and when you start downgrading them, making them inferior.
Okay, so that's
when it's wrong.
That's the point I'm trying to. For sure, I'm trying to make. You know, is that, but also, it's okay to. I think it's okay to laugh about. Oh yeah,
yeah. It can be funny sometimes.
Yeah, like in this situation where it was like the chosen one.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny, right? But let's just say, like, maybe maybe the best. If I would have heard like this defensive back was, his name was Joe Choi.
Yeah.
I would have been, that guy's Korean.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's because I know the name Choi is Korean.
Yeah.
If it was the chosen one, Choi, I would have been extremely confused. I don't know what I would do.
So, like, I mean, that's the thing. You know, we have these certain preconceived ideas about what things are. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not wrong. It's just not wrong. You know, I hate when people assume that everything you do is wrong. That's why I don't like this cancel culture thing. I don't like this snowflake culture. This Generation Z.
But here's the thing: is here's my thing about the snowflake culture, like labeling things as snowflake culture, right? Dude, you're a fucking snowflake.
Yeah.
When you sit there and complain about, you sound like a crybaby.
Yeah.
You sound like a crybaby when you talk about snowflakes, isn't it? Aren't you kind of like a fucking snowflake when you do that? I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about, because I've just been this way. I don't mind sharing this because I'm pretty sure, my brother-in-law's not going to listen. My brother-in-law is extremely right-wing conservative. People don't know, I'm probably more leaning towards left, progressive, but I'm open and being around other people and hearing their ideas and thoughts, right? Just, everybody's a snowflake. This person's a snowflake, but yet constantly complaining
and
about,
then they become the snowflake.
Yeah, and this idea of it's like, dude, you sound like a fucking pussy, right?
That's what it is.
And it is.
Everyone's complaining.
Yeah, if you're complaining, you just sound like a fucking pussy, and that could be guy or girl, whatever. Just stop complaining. And if you're talking about, oh, these people are up in arms because aren't you kind of up in arms because of whatever's happening here?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, it's the reaction. Like, you just hey, I don't like cancel culture. I don't like snowflakes, and this idea of people always constantly getting.
Yeah, I'm not always saying it.
Yeah, it's not something, granted, I brought up how we got on this topic. We talked about Yakuza jiu-jitsu player with his finger cut off, who I don't know is a Yakuza or not, but he certainly...
Yeah, and there's another thing. It's not wrong to assume that he's probably in the Yakuza.
Or he's a poser.
Yeah.
But if he's a poser and he's in Japan, he could get in some serious fucking shit, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They don't fuck around over there. It's a proven fact. They don't fuck around. There are certain towns in Japan where people don't go to the police. They go to the Yakuza.
Yeah, it's like...
Because it's like, if you go to police, you're not doing it right.
Right.
Yakuza is going to do way worse. If someone stole your money, be like, hey, that guy. All right.
Who do you think... this is a question for ages. Which Asian-based, crime gang, or I don't know, maybe Yakuza wasn't always known as a criminal organization. They're always a criminal organization throughout their history?
I assume so, yeah.
Okay.
From what I've read, yeah.
I should read about them. I should. They're probably really interesting. They're obviously, because I'm asking. So
they started with samurai, I think.
Yeah, they're kind of like the bad samurai.
I wouldn't say bad. They were the Ronin.
Were they Ronin?
Yeah, they were masterless. So they didn't have anyone. So samurai.
Yeah, I know. Ronin, it means you don't have a master, right?
Yeah. So
but are you disgraced and dishonored?
It depends. So samurai, a lot of people don't know this. Same thing with knights. The word samurai and the word knight essentially mean to serve or servant, along those lines. A lot of people don't realize that the only reason they have that status of being noble warriors is because they were servants at first.
They're serving a feudal lord.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Ronin were the ones where the master was disgraced or killed or whatever, or they were disgraced, or they just couldn't follow the code and they just kind of abandoned their... There's a lot of different reasons someone would have become a Ronin.
Could have banged the samurai's wife.
Exactly.
Right.
They could have done some shady shit. They could have been like, this isn't for me. I like pillaging and doing all this crazy shit. Mm-hmm. Or I like money. Mm-hmm. It could have been a whole bunch of different reasons that a Ronin would become a Ronin. And from what I know, and this could be wrong, of course, is that the Yakuza started out as a clan of Ronin.
Of people who were just they didn't have a master anymore.
Yeah,
so they were in charge of their own club.
When you're a really good samurai or a really good swordsman, fighter,
you're worth money.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Well, you're worth money for sure.
You're worth money, but what are you gonna do? You can't work for a feudal lord.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go be a mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna do some shady shit, crime.
So how long are we talking about this? So this is happening what?
Samurai reached their kind of golden era back during the medieval times. Mm-hmm. So we're talking late medieval too. So
1100, 1200, no, 1300.
1100 to about 1500.
Okay.
About 1600. In fact, samurai were around up until the U.S. sailed to Japan.
Right.
And, forced them to trade with them.
So, back to my stupid ass question.
Yeah.
Who do you think is more dangerous, Yakuza or Triad?
It depends on where you are. I think in Japan, obviously,
San Francisco.
San Francisco triads, for sure. They have a bigger presence. A lot of people don't realize this, but the triads have been around for thousands of years.
Way longer than the Yakuza?
Thousands. In fact, the Chinese is considered one of the 6 cradles of civilization.
Right.
You know, and triads have been around for thousands of years. For thousands. Like,
have they always been a crime organization?
No. They were essentially like the Secret Service for certain emperors. And so they developed to become crime because they live in the shadows, quote unquote.
Right.
In fact, when you go to a country, like in Europe, where do you think the triads would be?
In Europe?
Yeah.
Hang on. Can I get 3 guesses?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's like 40 countries.
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to be specific to the city. Rome.
Keep going. Just give all your 3 guesses. Just tell me your top 3.
All right. So Rome, London, Paris.
Paris, yes. So France and Germany.
Okay. Why Germany?
A lot of triads. I think it had something to do with World War II, but they've been in Paris for a long time.
I don't know why I thought Italy based on like
the Silk Road.
The Silk Road, which is extreme. Is that racist? I don't know.
Oh, fun fact about the Silk Road, I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, Paris, big center. And I'm not saying I'm triad. Don't come after me.
No.
I know you guys are watching. You know, don't come after me.
Arabs don't have things like that. It automatically turns into fucking terrorism. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. We can't have our own little.
I'm poking fun at it. They're not actually going to come after me.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like when I'm sitting there laughing about it, it's like, oh, he's not tried. And I was like, I don't. We don't have any cult. Our clubs are all like, oh, death to all. You know, it's like it's not good.
Oh, they broke jihad.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, but alhamdulillah is fine. But I'm like that. No, it's more like I don't know. You know, oh yeah, bro, you got the triads, we got ISIS. Like, no. So you can't do that.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, people think the triads are a gang. They're not. They're an organization. They're a crime syndicate. Like, they are a business. They probably own, like, Alibaba. Alibaba is probably owned by the triads.
No, not that guy. That guy is. You think that guy's a triad?
He's got some triads in his pocket for sure. For sure. He's what? What's trillionaire?
Yeah, the guy's super rich.
Jack Ma.
Jack Ma.
Yeah, dude. He's filthy. This motherfucker made a movie about himself being a world-class martial artist, beating the shit out of like fucking Donnie Yen. And
Donnie Yen's the
Umbuk guy. Can't remember his name.
Tony Jaa.
Yeah, he made a movie with all those guys. He made a movie with fucking Jet Li. Jet Li was in the movie. And the only reason Jackie Chan wasn't in the movie is because they couldn't schedule him.
Like, how rich do you have to be to do that kind of
dude.
shit?
And, like, he beat them up bad.
He's like, here, I'm going to give you $1 million and you $1 million, you $1 million.
Yeah, and he's wearing, like, Allbirds doing it. Like, Allbirds and the freaking, like, joggers and, like, a trench coat. You know? The typical, like, stereotypical looking Matrix wannabe.
Nerdy Asian dude.
Yeah, dude. It's freaking crazy. But you can't tell me he doesn't have some crime in his pocket, you know? There's no way. Don't come after me, you know.
Maybe.
No. But yeah.
So we got into the Ronin. I totally forgot we're on the Ronin System podcast.
Yeah.
So why the Ronin System podcast?
So the original meaning of Ronin, you break it up in 2 parts, Ro and Nin. Nin means person. And then you have Ro, which essentially means wave. So if you translate it literally, in Japanese, it means wave man. In Chinese, it means the same thing. Chinese, at least in Cantonese, it's long yan. Same shit. Long is Ro. Yan is Nin. Same shit. Wave man. And that's literal translation. But when you take it into context, the original meaning was wanderer. And so I thought Ronin was a good word. I even have it tattooed on me right here. I thought Ronin was a good word because I sort of created the system, quote unquote, back in college because I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with life. And I had so many like passions and so many like hobbies that I had to keep switching back and forth. I had ebb and flow in my life. And so I was like, yeah, I'm kind of wandering between the paths. So why not just be that wandering spirit? Why not just be someone that wanders? You know, someone without guidance, someone without a master.
It doesn't have to do with the fact that maybe you're open for travel too?
Oh, if I could, I would travel the world like nonstop. Like if I wasn't tied down to anything, I would be a vagabond, just going around the world, doing things, learning things, experiencing things.
I would do the same. I feel like I'm tied down to this house, but I would travel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing to be tied down.
It isn't, but then till you hear that the things that you own end up owning you, I can't just get up and leave.
Yeah, exactly. So like, this is my sort of outlet. You know, I can't stop eating the peanuts.
They're good. They're good. I have cashews if you want to switch to cashews.
I feel like all the people hearing are just crunching noises.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, you're not going to jiu-jitsu, man. 7:30 already.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's okay. We said we're going to go eat some Asian food. Speaking of all these triads and Yakuza, let's go get their food.
Dude. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to talk about seedy country, Thailand.
But I also hear like really good things about it too.
Oh,
like
I've heard amazing things about
like
Thailand.
the people itself.
My girlfriend went to Thailand. She had a blast, and she went for cousins, and she had to go back to China, but her cousins were there. They spent like $5 on like 40 drinks, US dollars. Like that's insane.
Yeah, the food supposedly like street food for sure is like really cheap.
It's a country like Vietnam, which is right next door to it.
Yeah,
all those like Southeast Asian countries. If I go there right now with everything that I own, I'd be a millionaire.
Right, you'd live comfortably.
Yeah, for the rest of my life. But yeah, if you want to have fun, you know, go there. But don't have too much fun because I've heard some other shit where, you know, especially for guys, if you like walk through a certain part of Thailand, you get stopped by like
prostitutes, whatever.
Yeah, seedy people that want your money. Like one of my buddies went there, and he said he got pulled into this club, into the back room, and legit, there's this woman back there that could shoot marbles out of her pussy.
What the fuck?
Right?
Okay.
And you pay like $1 to see it.
$1?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like. Would guys pay like lots of money to see it multiple times?
Can see more, you know. But that's like the entry, you know. It's like, oh, watch this. This is cool.
Okay.
Like $1. It's like one of those gag reel things, you know. You pay $1 and it's like, I kind of want to see more, you know. Like, what else can you do? But yeah, there's all kind of crazy shit like that out there.
Dude, that's so weird. People figure out anything to make money.
Yeah, triads are all over that place for sure.
Thailand.
I'm just eating all your shit.
It's totally fine. I have No. You keep talking. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be right
yeah,
back.
learn.
Gotta get some water.
But yeah, guys, if you want to visit Thailand, I highly recommend it. Like Chiang Mai, Bangkok, get to bang some cocks, you know, do all this fun shit. I wouldn't recommend visiting China right now, though, especially if you're a U.S. citizen. I actually have international listeners.
Yeah, you told me you were.
Yeah, I had some people in like Australia, Canada, Brazil.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know who listened to me in Brazil.
You've had people from overseas get on your podcast too, right?
Yeah, I had this one guy from Germany, Bo. He was cool. I want to get him back on. Bo, if you're listening, hit me up, man. I know you're doing cool shit, but help a brother out. The dog is back, guys. The dog is back.
You have all kinds of people that
I try to. You know, I want to reach out to more people like that I know internationally. I don't know like personally, but I know who they are, and I want to get them on. Just because I think they have an interesting story. I think they have an interesting lifestyle. It's just hard.
You were thinking about talking to people who are like into science,
Yeah,
genetics.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk to everyone about everything. I want to talk about string theory. I want to talk about genetics, biology. I want to talk about...
I have a couple of friends that are geneticists down in Florida. They're really smart guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love to be on your
Hit them up. Hit them up for me.
All right.
You can be my Jamie.
I will do that.
Yeah, you know Chris that trains with us?
Chris, Blue Belt Chris?
Yeah.
I just call him Blue Belt Chris.
Yeah, I don't know his last name. I don't
no
know
idea.
anyone's last name.
I know he's from Boston.
Yeah. He's a chemist.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's
super nerdy about it, too.
Is he?
Yeah.
I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him any more so than a couple things where he's...
Well, there's this one time, it was a Monday, and it was literally him and Renal and Jay and me. We rolled for maybe 30 minutes.
And talked.
And we just talked for the rest because we're just like, man, this is... A, it's kind of dull, and B, it's, we're tired.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Man, you do meet some interesting people in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Some of the most interesting people in there. So anyway, my old roommate he's a geneticist, but he was my old roommate when I was living in New York. He actually is the one who helped me quit drinking. I think I told you that.
The very first one.
Yeah.
Very first episode.
Yeah. He's a smart dude, a little eccentric, but he's probably an interesting talk.
I feel like you have to be eccentric to do science.
You do. You have to be, and you have to think a certain way. You have to be extremely methodical, and things definitely are more black and white for you. I don't know if they operate in the gray as much.
Maybe. I operate only in the gray.
Yeah. You're a wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. Help me get them on.
I will.
Speaking of which, if you guys want to be on the show, hit me up. You can hit me up at The Ronin System on Instagram. You can go to my Patreon. It's The Ronin System. You can send me an email, theroninsystem@gmail.com. Do whatever to get in touch with me, man. Because I need more people on this thing. And I've said it too much. I'm sick and tired of just talking to myself. Because A, it's boring, and B...
You get into a lot of different conversations with
I need more conversations. I feel like I talk about the same shit over and over again.
So have you ever thought about... I mean, I'm not trying to, listen. I think that a lot of people... A lot of... We both listen to a lot of the same podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to some other sports-based
Joe
podcasts.
Hogan.
Yeah, but he does some cool things with where they do the fight companion ones.
Yeah.
But honestly, they don't even talk about the fights, and it kind of goes into all different.
I think that's the issue with his guests, though.
Yeah, there probably is issues, and probably an issue with him too. To be fun, because he gets into that world too. I think that maybe it's a great idea. People who, if you just want to talk about MMA,
yeah.
Well, okay, so they're fighting this person. By the way, did you see them fight this guy? And then this is what happened. This is what my thought process on what's going to happen in this fight. This does this. You actually just talk about fights with whoever is with you. You know what I'm saying? And there's probably in there. The good news is there's a lot of really good, knowledgeable MMA fans and former MMA fighters that could probably do that. It'd be fun. So.
I mean, I've actually wanted to do. What was the thing we were talking about? Not fight companion, but battle buddies or something.
Battle buddies,
dude. Yeah, that's something I want to do. I want to do battle buddies because live events. I think it's too organic for a live event to work properly when you watch it live on a podcast. It just doesn't work right.
You could do one to recap whatever happened.
Yeah, I want to do a fight a card analysis too. If we go back and watch, I don't know, I can't even think. Khabib versus Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back and watch, analyze that fight, I totally want to do that. It seems fun to me. I like analyzing things. I like watching MMA, and I like talking about MMA, and I like talking about why this worked, why that didn't work. What led up to it, all the racist shit that Conor said. And yes, it is really racist because it was malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Trash talk aside, business aside, it was malicious.
Mm-hmm. So Jarrett could probably hold a good conversation with you.
Yeah, but he never shows up.
Well, you tried it with him before?
No, I hit him up twice. He's like, "Oh, I gotta cancel, bro."
Oh man, that son of a gun.
Yeah.
Now you can rip
Fuck
into
you,
his...
Jared.
Fuck you, Tyrone.
Fuck you, Black Talion.
So exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, but I think that's a really good idea to do it post, or just like, hey, this is a recap, and this is what I gained from this. Maybe to go. You see that happen in a lot of sports based podcasts. You know, here's the week in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. But not so cheesy, like right. Or pre-fight analysis of what happened. That's kind of cool too. But obviously, it has to be people that are knowledgeable. And to me, I know it enough, but I don't know. I don't think I know enough to be dangerous. I think I know if we were to do one about ADCC or like before the Mundials or like the Worlds or IBJJF or. You know, it's not as fun, but maybe...
Well, that's the thing about Battle Buddies, dude. We could talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Any combat sport.
Any combat sport. What's this fucking thing about Lithway? I don't know.
Oh, dude.
You think it's cool?
Yeah, so you have Muay Thai, right? Everyone knows Muay Thai, right? It's a Thai kickboxing. It's called the science or the art of 8 limbs. Because you have your fists, your elbows, your knees, and your feet, or your shins, depending on who you ask. 8 limbs. Basically, the idea is to march forward and beat the shit out of the guy in front of you. Then you have Lithway, which is the Burmese kickboxing. It's called the science/art of 9 limbs. Basically, it's just Muay Thai, but headbutts are encouraged. It becomes way more brutal and way more... I wouldn't want to say entertaining, but it becomes way more spectacular. Mm-hmm. When you get headbutt knockouts, you have people headbutting each other in the clinch. So it's basically just Muay Thai, but more dangerous. They encourage headbutts. They encourage less protection. So you're basically just wearing hand wraps. It's just a way more brutal martial art. Mm-hmm. And fun fact, I was actually doing research on Muay Thai. And according to history... Muay Thai beat out Lithway way back in the day to become like the pinnacle of kickboxing art. Back when Thailand was still called Siam, the Siam Empire. Mm-hmm. But yeah, old history. Anyway, Lithway is cool. I wouldn't recommend it, but I like watching it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. The only exposure I had to was with that guy, Dave Ledoux, and hearing him talk was pretty obnoxious. I just couldn't.
Well, I mean, that guy's just
maybe there's
just obnoxious.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. He's the only person who's speaking English that I know that's doing it. So I'm like, right.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a smaller art, you know.
Right. There's not a lot of people that want to go in.
It's like Mongolian wrestling.
Probably not as well. Mongolian wrestling is pretty dope, though.
It's legit, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. The same thing with that Senegalese wrestling from Senegal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forgot what it's called.
It's basically just like judo without anything on.
Can you look that up? What's Senegalese wrestling?
Yeah, Jamie, look that up for me.
Yeah. Senegalese. I don't know, but it's awesome. It looks really cool. Some of those dudes are like massive. They're tanks.
La Lutte?
La Lutte?
The wrestle? What?
That makes sense. The loot.
Oh, here you go. I'm not even going to try. NJOM.
NJOM?
Yeah. It's lutte sénégalaise in French. Or lutte avec frappe.
Those guys are freaking monsters, though, man. They're massive.
Oh, look at that one. Lamb.
That's it. It's called Lamb. That's what it is called.
Lamb.
I saw it on Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown.
Oh, holy shit! Look at this one. I can't even see that.
What are you looking at? This one. It's called Lamb, though. I know it's called Lamb. That's what the technical like.
Guys, look it up on Wikipedia. The waist is. Oh my god, those are jacked.
They're huge, man.
Holy shit!
It's like watching linebackers.
Good God.
Yeah, they're not small dudes. They're big dudes.
Yeah,
they're basically wrestling in. It's like they can shoot takedowns off legs. They can do judo takedowns, everything, but it's all in a sand pit basically. And these guys are wearing just usually not like they're wearing tights and tighty shorts, and then some specific Senegalese garb.
African martial arts, kind of scary.
Yeah. Dude.
You ever seen Deadliest Warrior?
Who?
Deadliest Warrior.
No.
The TV show.
Oh, wait, when they would analyze some of them? Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the Zulus, or not the Zulus, some kind of African tribe, and they had like a sword with a dick on it.
What?
You never saw that?
No.
Dude, I show that to everyone when I talk about African warriors. Which these guys are African warriors.
African
doing
dick
lamb.
sword?
Yeah, I remember watching behind the scenes for that episode in particular, and the other team was like, "Oh, it's ineffective. It's a big piece of metal, blah blah blah." But then the behind the scenes are saying Zande. It's a Zande tribe. But the behind the scenes were saying that, yeah, man, I didn't know how to feel about the fight because they were going to throw a dick at us. Here it is, Kapinga. Kapinga. Yeah, it's got that dick right there. You see it?
Is it really a dick, or is it just like a...
That's more of like a PG picture.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the episode, which I can't find anywhere on the internet,
no,
it's like actual round piece of metal for the balls, and then a really long kind
like
of mushroom shape.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's just a funny thing. Like, they're out there wrestling in underwear and throwing dicks at each other.
And they're lethal, though.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, look at Francis Ngannou.
He's from Senegal.
He's from Cameroon.
He's from Cameroon?
Yeah. He's Cameroonian. And then Usman is Nigerian. And so is Adesanya. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if any news from...
Go over there.
Go over there. Stink bug. You want to go get some food?
Yeah, how long have we been doing this?
I don't know.
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Right. It's a good podcast.
Yeah, man. It's a good episode. We talked about a lot of different things. What do you want to call this? I'm going to ask you. What do you want to name this episode? It's episode 65, 66.
Yeah, we talked a lot about... What did we talk about? TRT. We talked about the UFC fights that are coming up. We talked about racism. We talked about Yakuzas. How about
dick throwing?
Dick throwing. How about we talk about how we call it Max and Ahmed's Asian Crime Syndicate show. I like that.
Yeah. What about we're racist?
No, don't do that.
How about don't come after me?
No, I just keep it as the Asian Crime Syndicate show. That's really good. I think it's
Asian Crime Syndicate.
Yeah, because we had a lot of questions about the
Battle Buddies, dude.
Battle Buddies. There
Just
you go.
name it Battle Buddies, episode 1.
Battle Buddies, episode 1.
Perfect.
That sounds good.
So, you got any last things to say?
No, just shout out to everybody that trains at Top Martial Arts, specifically people like Edgar, Steven Hernandez, Jeho Lee, Tyrone Buttafuoco, Khan Cabroni. Rest up, heal up, Khan. He's got a Liz Frank injury. You know what that is?
What?
You should Google it.
All right, I'm not going to Google it here.
Right, but it's an injury to your foot that takes a long time to heal.
Oh.
And Obi, we'll give a shout out to Obi.
Get out of
the
here.
Man. All right, that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Ahmed.
Thanks for coming.
It's a blast. Let me know when you want to get back on, guys. If you want to get on, please let me know. Ahmed's the only person that hits me up.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think it's sad.
It's sad that I'm hitting you up. Or
No, I think it's sad that you're the only one. But yeah, like I said, I have an Instagram. I mean, I'm terrible at social media. I really do need to get someone like a Jamie. I'm just terrible at it. I don't have money for it. But if you want to support me, go on Patreon.
Become a patron.
Yeah, become a patron. Be dope. Either way, guys, thank you so much for the support. Have an amazing day. Get out there, get hungry, and good luck.